What's going on, folks? Your boy again, Dr. Sean Thomas, back in the building. Episode 82 of the Be More Today show. We are back. We are back in the building. And folks, 82 episodes. This is going to be a special two-part edition of the Be More Today show, interviewing my running club, the Spartan Sunday Running Club, in our post-marathon edition. So for all you guys who've been following Be More Today, I appreciate you guys so much. As you know, we are a movement. We're growing, trending everywhere on Facebook and Instagram. We have a Be More Today Strava group that's on there doing fitness, whether you run, whether you bike, whether you jog, whatever it is, join our page and be on there as well. And on Be More Today page, BeMoreToday.com has everything from my book on Amazon, the podcast, which is now in 46 countries, and our YouTube page continues to showcase workouts in conjunction with our Spartan Sundays group. So subscribe to our page today, Be More Today and Spartan Sundays, and be inspired. I wanted to let you guys know also that in January 1st, we're doing a Be More Today 4-day challenge. My Steps to Greatness challenge I do every single year. This will be the second time we're doing it, so look out for that. It is coming. My quote for today is simple as always. To get through the hardest journey, we need to take only one step at a time, but we must keep on stepping. Folks, if you are from New York, know about New York, have been to New York, you know the NYC Marathon just went down. NYC style, the 50th anniversary of the NYC Marathon. I'm rocking my medal today because we all got through it. And I wanted to make today special because the quote for this week is about a journey. And I had the pleasure of being with so many people who went through this journey with me. 24 people finished this amazing journey and got through it and were successful and were integral in becoming that 1% that has done a marathon in their lifetime. So today's show is going to feature some of the participants in that marathon. There are three people who are missing. Racine, Marquise, and Heather will not be joining us, but congrats to those people as well. But I do have a number of people on the show today who will inspire you and will let you know that that Chinese proverb is right. To get through the hardest journey, we have to take one step at a time, but we must keep on stepping. And today, folks, my first guest is my guy. He's my go-to guy for many things. Some call him Uncle Ish. Some call him Wepa. He's called many, many things, but he's my guy. We actually started this run crew together, and we started Spartan together years ago. He's on the show with me right now. His name is Ishmael Torres. So, folks, welcome to the show for the second time, my boy Ishmael Wepa Torres. Ish, what is going on?
Man, I feel so special to be back. Yeah, but I'm back for the right reasons. We got through this together. And let's note that they call me Uncle Ish because I'm a little easier on the training. When they want to get away with stuff, they go to Uncle Ish. But when Sean is there, everybody's like, geez, man, Sean, I gotta do everything. So
It's true.
that's the reason for the Uncle Ish.
That's true. Listen, man, you and I gotta say we've done a good thing. We came together. We have used our platform to inspire others, and this is the result. We now have 24 finishers that can say they've gotten through the marathon. And you, my friend, I'm super impressed with because, Spartan Sundays, as you and I have always talked about through the years, and our wives probably hate us for talking about it so much, has grown. This running club is now a legit running club, and over the past 4 years, it's grown and it's been cultivated to not just become a group of people who run together recreationally, but are now out there doing marathons internationally and are being recognized by other run clubs. What for you, sir, as I call you the one who is so good at bringing in community and bringing in people to feed into this thing to make it grow? What's been the secret, you think, for the success of the running club?
I mean, relationships are worth more than anything. Basically, we started out as watching you that first time in 2017, and that kind of like stoked the fire for everybody to get in. And you know, I was on my journey while you were on yours, while you were finishing your first marathon journey, and I was just like, nah, I got to do this. And I think that you know what makes Spartan, there's no judgments. The one of the things I've learned is there's runners in the front, there's runners in the back. I was happy being part of what we call the cookout wave this year. And in the cookout wave, nobody, I'm not going to say nobody cared about their pace, but they were just glad to be there. They were happy to be crossing the bridge. They wanted to finish and experience everything that the marathon offered. And on my end, being the kind of like unofficial leader of the turtle and snail groups, it's good to be able to show people that if I could do it, they could do it. And part of the turtle group, there were people faster than me, but it was okay. I got you to the starting line, and that's what mattered. So
Yeah.
we got speed walkers this year. We got regular run walkers. There's no judgment in Spartan Sundays.
Yeah, yeah, I like the concept no judgment. We've used that concept many times, and it has worked, and it has shown to be successful. Even in training for not just the marathon, but for Spartan races and everything else. And for you, sir, you are special because this year you did two marathons. You conquered Berlin and NYC. Of the two, which are two majors in the running world, which one was the most memorable for you, and why?
Berlin was nice. Don't get me wrong. Berlin was a nice place to be at, and I loved it. The Euro crowd was really cool. It was pretty much the first major marathon to open up to the general public. There was no bubble, and they handled it very well and efficiently. Um, just being in Berlin is very chill city, very chill community. Um, I always tell everybody it's basically if Williamsburg was a big city, and that's the best way to explain Berlin. But you cannot top the block party cookout that NYC is, especially after 2 years of being in COVID lockdown. We didn't have one last year. And now to come back, it felt like everybody was out there. There were points where you actually had to stop running to walk through the crowd because it was so packed. And big shout out to Williamsburg for standing up. Big shout out for the Lafayette Hill, where it was also jam packed. And big shout out to the Bronx because, especially in my wave, they were dancing salsa when I got to mile 20. So you got to see. One more shout out, Harlem. Harlem was like they had streamers in the air. They had bullhorns. They were all over the place. And shout out to Harlem Run for putting up a really good run crew station up there. It was just you can't match that. And it's the only marathon I know that actually lets you finish until midnight, like until 12 o'clock. And I love the tradition, especially for my walkers out there, that if you did it right, the winners of the marathon actually came back to give you your medals. That was amazing because you actually got to be handed that medal by that person. So it was amazing.
Yeah, yeah. No, that's why NYC is what it is, man. It's that spot.
Yeah.
Listen, I've seen your running journey progress heavily over the last couple of years, and you mentioned that being in shape was really important to you, especially after you had Kanan, who I'm sure is watching now. Why is fitness so important to you, and why is it important to you in regards to your family in particular?
So, I mean, for most of the runners that are in the run crew, they know Kanan and Joshua are basically two Energizer batteries. They're basically, if you've seen the Energizer commercial with the bunny rabbit just running around, that I have two. So now to have two of them, and I'm getting old. There's a Spanish little proverb saying, "Don't have them too late, or else you won't be able to chase them," kind of thing. So I kind of feel like I have to stay up there, even in whatever speed I am, because if I let down, I won't be able to experience some moments with them because I'm too slow per se. I already got them telling me that they're faster than me and all this stuff. So, like they're already throwing down the gauntlet and they're only 5 and 3. So I got to keep up. I can't have this 100-meter dash with my 6-year-old talking about, I beat you, daddy, and I'm only 6.
Right. I hear that. I hear that. And yeah, as I have Sonali as well, we're in the same boat. So we're just trying to make sure we keep up with these guys as they continue to get older. So let's keep doing it together. Listen, as coaches, I think it's poignant that we have a chance to chat because a lot of stuff happens behind the scenes when it comes to training. And as this is not your first marathon, not mine either, we learn a lot of things every single year about things that work, what doesn't work. What's one lesson that you learned this year personally from the training experience that you're going to take into the next season?
Okay, so I tell everybody the marathon, the 26.2 miles are a mimic of life. You get on the bridge and you're like, yes, I'm here. Instagram photos galore. The best version of you comes out at the Verrazano. And, you get to the first 10 miles and you're like, I'm great. You get to the halfway part and you're just like, okay, I only reached the half. And then you get to mile 20 and it's all, I don't want to say survival, but that's kind of it. So the mental aspect of getting through the marathon, the ups, the downs, the lefts, the rights, the consistency of training to actually get to the starting line. All of those things come together, mimic your work, your life, your recreational life, whatever sport you're into, the marathon mimics that.
Yeah.
Well, I'm a sports junkie. They say there's something called the test of truth, right? And there's two things that are called the test of truth in sports. And the first one is in cycling is called the time trial. As you can see, my bike is behind me. The time trial is the test of truth in cycling because it's all gas all the time. The marathon is the running version of the test of truth. You really know about yourself that day. And there's no holding back because once you're on the route, you're gonna learn, like Kevin Hart gonna say. So
You're going to learn today.
so you're gonna learn today. So that's basically it in a nutshell.
Yeah, I hear that. And I always say the same metaphor. It is what life really is. So if you can get through that, then you can get through anything. Ish, you've done a great job this year, man. I always salute you and congratulate you. What's next for 2022 as we look forward to the new season that's coming up?
Oh man. So everybody has the bug now. So like all these new marathoners are hitting us up, like where we going, what we doing, things like that. So Spartan Sundays Run Club is looking to get into Chicago and London. I heard there are a couple of people thinking about Berlin for 2022. And there's a nice little race in Puerto Rico called the Lola Challenge. So it looks like we're gonna have some international Spartans for 2022. And I just want to shout out to Traveling Niece for hooking us up and sending us around the world. She's been great in terms of hooking us up in terms of accommodations and flights and everything like that. So I thank her a lot for what she's been doing.
Absolutely. Traveling Niece, one of our sponsors. We appreciate her so much. And Ish, it's been a pleasure. I appreciate you, as you always know. Let's keep this thing rolling, man. I want to talk to some of the other team members who are on the chat now. So let's go to our next finisher.
Oh wait, I just gotta shout out the turtle. The turtle. Gotta shout out all the turtles. But yo, it was a pleasure getting on. Let's give everybody some love and let's get it.
Yes, sir.
All right, cool. Who is next?
Folks, I'm just continuing to showcase our Spartans. There's so many who got through this race together, and there's so many stories. And my whole point of having you guys on the show this week is to show the stories. Everyone has a story. Everyone has something that they've gone through to get to this point. And my next guest is no surprise to the spotlight. She is probably the biggest Hamilton fan in the world, and no better place to run her first marathon than in NYC. She's known as Sarah, aka SMB. Sarah Marie Brown, what is going on?
Good morning, Dr. Sean. Thanks for having me on this morning. It's so great
No
to be here.
problem.
you.
Yeah, you look great. You got your marathon gear on. You're rocking out. You're
Do
glistening.
it. Let's do it. Let's do it. Yeah. There
That's
we
right.
go.
That's right.
Yeah, there we
Listen,
go.
how did it feel to have that gold medal? You said you wanted to get your gold medal. You have that gold medal for your first marathon. How does it feel?
The truth is, it has not set in yet. The reality of it is like getting up in the mornings. Let's go. We have to meet. Let's get stretched out, prayed up. Let's go. Let's do these long runs. And now it's just like, it happened. Oh my goodness. And people say where my medal is like, hey, congratulations. I'm like, thanks. And I'm like, oh yeah, I did that. I was like, wait, I'm not a volunteer this time. I walked into the expo this year and it was a whole new experience. I was like, wait a second, the bibs are for me. The t-shirt is for me. I'm not the one that's giving it out, even though being a volunteer is a great experience. Being supportive of the runners all the way. But this time it was just like table completely turned. And it's just like, wow, okay, this is Sean Thomas. This is happening. This
Yeah.
is happening.
Yeah, this is
Yeah.
happening. Absolutely, that's what happens. And I think the reality doesn't really set in for a while because there's just so much hype and adrenaline that goes into it. But you did do it, and as like I say, we all know, but you and I know, Hamilton is our musical. We love it so much, and we know all the songs. I gotta say, you're probably the biggest fan of Hamilton, right? But what did it feel like running in the greatest city in the world for the biggest marathon out there? What did that feel like for you?
So my first thought, literally, when Ish called me, because Ish just called me to do this marathon before, and I'm like, I'm not doing that. And then he called me for this marathon. He said, this is the 50th. This is what's happening. And my first thought was literally, I'm not throwing away my shot. I'm not throwing away my shot. I'm doing this. I have an opportunity. I'm going for it. I'm not throwing away my shot. So that was my first thought. I remember being on the bridge and I was actually thinking about you. And I know you had an earlier start time than we did. And then the next thought that went through my head is, I'll see you on the other side. I will literally see you on the other side of the finish line. And then I guess I did see you very close to the finish line. Thank you for being there. All the support cannot be overstated. It's needed. It gets you through every step of the way. Um, the
Awesome.
50th anniversary, history is happening in Manhattan, and we just happen to be in the greatest city in the world. I
Yeah,
mean, and
yeah.
we put in the work. So yeah,
Yeah,
it
yeah,
was
you put
awesome.
in the work. Listen, those long runs did pay off. There were
Yeah.
many times where you and I were putting in those miles, back of the pack. And I remember you sitting there saying, "Why? How am I gonna get through this? Is it gonna be okay? I don't know." And I kept saying, "Sarah, just keep doing it." And you kept doing it, and you
Yeah.
prevailed. And I know you mentioned in your episode online on our Spartan Sunday Instagram page that this year was challenging, right? You had mentioned coming out of the challenging year, and you had to get mentally, spiritually, physically, emotionally ready, trained up with this thing with your peers. What was
Yes.
it like, and what did you learn from this experience? Going to the training, waking up in the morning, training with these people that but not even closer, right? For this one thing that we all conquer now. What was that experience like for you now in hindsight?
In hindsight, I can echo Ish and go forward from Ish. Like, this marathon is mimics life. This is real life. This is what it is. You have to get up in the morning. You have to make this priority. Your diet matters. How you spend your time matters. The people you surround yourself with matters, and you all have a common goal. We're all working towards this. There are things that you need to balance with your life, there are things that you need to sacrifice, but you're all working towards a common goal. The goal is guaranteed if you put in the work, but you have to move forward towards the goal. That's the marathon. You can't quit. Keep on going. If you fall down, there are likely people who are going to be like, "Nope, we're not tolerating this. We're going to the finish line. If we have to go through it together, together." My gold medal, to my knowledge, looks like everyone else's gold medal. My goal was to finish. And in this life, our goal is to finish and to get to heaven. It matters who we surround ourselves with. It matters the messages that we put in our heads. Some things, you might have to let them go by the wayside. Some people might have to go by the wayside. But the goal is heaven. And the goal isn't to be the first one to be there. The goal is to be on the journey, be involved in the journey, give it your best, and move forward. Being in the marathon, ask for your all. this life asks for your all. So yeah, but it was a great experience, to be with my peers again, to see them, to work towards something common. Like, this is awesome. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I appreciate those words of encouragement. And I'm curious now, Sam Marie Brown, now that you have the bug, because it's definitely a bug out there, you talk about marathon fever. What's next for you for 2022?
So if I do it again, I need to improve on my time. And so now that I know what to expect, I'm like, okay, if I need to do this, okay, I need to start sooner. I need to plan this way. But what's next? What's next is right now is just trying to get my mind to accept what we're doing, right? What has happened, and to allow myself to actually embrace better habits and new habits. I'm not saying, oh yeah, let's go out and do another marathon. But the marathon is one day. The marathon training is like what is partly what got me into it. It's the discipline. It's the self discipline and being in the moment of every day. It's not just a one-time event, it's a continual event. So part of me, while I may do another marathon, is for 2022, it's like having better life, better lifestyle, and just being more conscious about that and how the marathon has benefited me both mentally and physically.
Awesome. Awesome.
Yeah.
Sam Marie Brown, I appreciate your kind words. I appreciate your story. Thank you so much for being on the show today. And
Thank
yeah,
you.
look
Thanks,
forward
Dr.
to training with you for next year for sure.
All right, let's do it. Have a great day.
Awesome. Awesome. Folks, again, there's so many stories of people who have come out of the woodworks and continue just to inspire me, right? To keep going and pushing out there. And, as someone who's done now 5 marathons, you couldn't have told me I would have done 5 marathons 5 years ago. There's no way. But it happens. You catch a bug, you keep moving. And we're going to go to our next Spartan Sunday Running Club member now, because again, there's so many stories, and I want to just highlight as many as I can. We have Auntie Faye. Now, if you folks don't know Auntie Faye, she is known as the snail, the finisher, Auntie Faye. And she's here with us this morning. Auntie Faye, what is going on?
I am here. I am
Yes.
here. And this looks so pretty. Isn't it pretty? It's so pretty.
So pretty.
I
So
am
pretty.
loving it. I am loving every moment of it.
You should love it. Listen, you're part of the Wingate crew. We were training at Wingate in the mornings at 5 o'clock. And I'm not gonna lie to you, the first time we showed up there, I did not know you were there until you called my name because it was dark. And every time we got there, it was dark. But you were putting in that work. You were putting in that work. And a lot of people didn't see you, but we saw you. We saw you every week at least doing something in the park, doing your thing. And you mentioned in your bio that one of the reasons you wanted to start running was to take your body back due to your experience with fibromyalgia. Can you just talk to the listeners about what fibromyalgia is so they have a better idea of what your journey was like?
Well, basically, fibromyalgia is a chronic condition. It causes pain in your muscles, in your joints, on your skin. I actually started having issues in my early 20s. Didn't know what it was tired all the time, was in pain all the time, different parts of my body, different feelings. And it wasn't until my mid 30s that I was actually diagnosed. I went through years of, people saying it was all in my head. Some going as far as saying I was lazy. And it came to the point where frustration and anger, because I knew I was not crazy. At one point, I actually thought that maybe I was having early onset of dementia, because there's this thing called fibrofog, where you forget things, you lose words. I could be in the middle of doing something and forget what I was doing, that kind of thing, And I remember going into the doctor's office and saying, I might have dementia. And she laughed and she goes, "You're way too young for that." So I was like, well, it has to be something. I need you to figure it out. And finally, I found a doctor who actually sat down and listened to me, and she contacted other doctors, and they listened to me and ran tests and went through the process that they go through to figure it out, because there's no one test that can say, oh yeah, you have fibromyalgia. So we went through this process for a few months, and I finally got an answer. Um, there's 7 types of fibromyalgia. I suffer from muscle pain, something called allodynia, and neuropathic pain. So basically, my pain are in my muscles. I also suffer with um, nerve issues where it literally feels like stuff maybe like things are crawling you, things are sticking you. Um, Pains on my skin where when I'm going through an episode, I can't be touched. I can't be hugged. And I'm a hugger. Anyone who knows me, I am a hugger. And that's one of the hardest things is that you can't, I'm very overly affectionate and I can't be affectionate when I'm going through um, an issue. Fibro fog is probably one of the worst parts of it because of the loss of thoughts and not remembering and not being able to truly voice what's going on in your head because everything is kind of just spinning around and you can't get everything out. Um, and sometimes people look at you and actually, I actually had one woman say, "Are you slow?" Because I couldn't find a very simple word to express myself. So,
Mm.
yeah, so that's the basic gist of
Yeah.
fibromyalgia.
Yeah, I deal with a number of fibromyalgia patients, and it's tough because it's multifaceted. It's multifaceted, and it is super challenging. But like you said, as long as you know what's going on with you, there are many ways to mitigate the pain to get through whatever you're getting through. And fitness is helpful. Movement is helpful when it's not so acute, right? When you're having episodes when it's so painful, you can't do certain things. But when things feel good, movement does help. So, given that you have shared about your fibromyalgia journey, why was finishing this marathon so important, and why was it so impactful to your life?
Because I was told I couldn't do it. um, Initially, it was year, years ago. I joined Spartan Sundays, and I was doing fine for a little while, and um, the pain started kicking in, and that's when things got the worst. Those were the worst times, and I had to stop. And I went years of always wanting to come back and see you guys, you know, do the runs and to see you guys, go on these journeys together. And all I could do is kind of watch and um, cheer from the background. And this year, it was just like, you know what? I'm just going to go for it. And the worst thing that could possibly happen is that the day of the marathon, um, I have a flare up and can't. That's the worst that could happen. And I prayed and I was just like, God, just let me get through this. They I wasn't able to train as much as some of the others because I had a few flare-ups during the process. Um, Extreme exhaustion is something that I suffer with terribly. So there'll be times when I'll go from not being able to sleep to not being able to stay awake. And I would think, okay, I'm going to work out tomorrow, and my body says, I don't think so. No, you're not. But a couple of weeks before the marathon, and it's continuing even now, I was having the muscle pain. And I was actually very afraid that I wouldn't be able to do it. And I was kind of giving warning signs to everybody. maybe I might not show up. But in my heart, I knew I had to show up. I had to. I had to show up for myself. I had to show up for my family. Because I had already told my mom I was doing it. And you can't tell mama you're doing something and not do it. You just can't. And the day of that morning of, I woke up and felt like I had a slight bout of the flu, in which that's one of a major symptom, that you feel like you have the flu, but you know for a fact you're not sick. You're just
Mm-hmm.
not.
Mm-hmm.
And I woke up that morning and I was like, I shouldn't say I woke up because I didn't actually sleep. I was kind of excited, very excited. But yeah, I just got up and said, all right, let's go. Let's do this. Let's go through with it. And I said to myself, I will allow people to hug me because they're going to want to hug you. Let them hug you. Deal with the pain and let them hug you.
Mm-hmm.
Let them high five you. Deal with the
Mm-hmm.
pain and let them high five you.
Mm-hmm.
And while we were there waiting in Staten Island, a young lady said, smile through it. She's like, smile through the whole thing. And I had my chapstick and I smiled from the beginning to the end.
Mm-hmm.
And I was just like, just keep smiling. My cheeks were hurting, but I was like, keep smiling. And honestly, between that and prayer and praying through it and hearing people, as you said earlier, I see you, that is a wonderful thing to be going through something and struggling and to hear someone say, ah, sis, I see you. I see you, baby girl. I see you. And I really felt like, even though there were other runners there, I felt like people were actually seeing me and they needed to see me smile through
Yeah.
all that pain. And that's what I did.
Incredible, Faye. It's amazing that you not just finished this race, but and some people might not know this, but I called you. I called you during the race because it was getting dark, and it's fitting that you ended the race in the dark because that's kind of how we started training in the dark. So
Ended up.
training in the dark was a good thing because you had to go through that darkness at some point in time during the race. But I called you because we didn't know where you were and we were still tracking you. And you didn't sound, when I called you, you didn't sound like you were worried. You didn't sound like you were anxious at all. You said, "Look, I'm running or I'm walking. I'm coming down." I asked you where you were on the course. You told me, and you said, "Yeah, they're starting to bring a lot of things down. They're starting to clean a lot of things up, but I'm going to finish this thing." And then you said, I can't see where I am because I don't have my glasses." And I said, "What?" I was like, wait a minute. Sveola is walking now. The the course markers are down. She can't really see clearly, yet she's gonna finish this race. And anyone who has any excuses about why they can't do certain things or don't want to do certain things or aren't ready to do certain things, I'm gonna point them to you because you went against all odds to be in the 1% to say, I can do this thing. Not just people said you couldn't do it, but because you knew what your history was, you knew what was up against you, and you said, nevertheless, I'm going to push through this thing. So, Fiola, I salute you so much. You are an inspiration to all of us. And I got to ask you now that that's done, what is next for Faye, Auntie Faye? What's next?
What's next for Auntie Faye? Wherever God takes me. He brought me through this. Um, I would like to say one quick story of what happened on the road that lets me know that something big is happening. Um, I'm going over the Willis Bridge and there's no one in front of me. There's absolutely no one behind me. All I can see is the sprinkling of the police lights. Like they look like Christmas lights from afar. It could just be because I didn't have my glasses, but they looked very far. And I couldn't find words to even say, to even pray. I couldn't figure out a song. Nothing was coming to me. And all of a sudden this girl appears. I don't know where she came from, but she comes beside me and she goes, "You alone, sis?" And I was like, "Yeah, but I'm all right." And she goes, "You're not alone. You're never alone. He's always with you." He's always there. Just those footprints are there. He is always there. He is always with you. Don't you ever forget that. He's always with you.
Mm.
And that gave me the energy, the boost. I had to fight back tears. And just as quick as she appeared, she was gone. But I will always, always remember her, just like I
Mm.
will always remember this race and I will always remember this process. So, whatever
Mm.
comes next, this was my foundation. And I thank each and every one of you guys for allowing me to come on this journey with you.
Awesome. Awesome, Faye. I got to give a shout out to James Lamb, because James Lamb, although he didn't run with us this year, he was integral in terms of bringing you out. And although he didn't
That's
run this
my
year,
bro.
I'm on the course. So shout out to James Lamb as well. And Fayola, congrats on being part of the marathon crew. You earned it. You did it. Rock the medal with pride. And we will see you for our next season.
Thank you so much, you guys.
No problem. Folks, I told you there's so many stories. Break out the tissues. This is going to be that kind of a show. And the great thing about all the stories is that everybody's journey is different. Everybody goes through a different training process for the same race. Whether you come in first, whether you come in last, we all win. And it's life-changing. It's life-changing. And we're going to bring our next runner up because, again, there's so many stories I want to highlight that we have to bring us into two sections. Two sections for this. It's going to be our part one. And today is this man's birthday, folks. It is Garth Jack,
right.
aka G Money, aka Numbers. Garth Jack, what's going on?
I'm all right. I'm up. I'm ready. I'm just having such a great time. I'm still all pumped from doing this race last Sunday. I just can't believe it's been a week already. And I'm
Hey,
like,
dude,
yeah, I did this. All right.
you did this.
This
You
feels
did this. Happy
great.
birthday for one. I don't know how you're feeling, but happy
Thanks.
birthday.
Thanks.
And
Thanks.
what a
I'm
good way
feeling
to
good,
celebrate.
man. I'm feeling good.
Yes, sir. Listen, you mentioned in 2018 that you had a chance to run NYC, right? You mentioned that, and you didn't feel like you were ready. You also mentioned to me that you had always been a runner, right? So what was different this year that said, you know what, I'm going to do this thing and finally get this thing done?
One, the first thing was the medal. I'm like, this is the 50th anniversary and they're giving out a medal. Okay. Secondly, I said, I got to do this for my birthday. This would be the best birthday present ever. And then I felt I was actually physically ready this year because the last time, even though I had been training, I didn't think I was completely ready to do this. So even though I had the opportunity, I didn't take advantage of it. Maybe that was my error. But this year I had prepped myself. I said, if I could, because even though we couldn't do anything last year, it was the COVID. I had been running, I had been working out. I'm like, if I get in this year, Lord, I am going to do it. So when Uncle Ish Wepper texted me and said, we have some spots. Are you interested in doing this? I'm like, yeah. And he said, okay, they're gonna send you a link. It's not fake, it's real. Respond. I'm like, all right. So once I committed, I'm like, yeah, I'm doing this. I can do this.
Good,
I'm definitely
good.
doing this. I was ready for this.
Yeah, and
And
we're
I'm
so
glad I
glad
did.
you did. Yeah, I'm so glad you did too. And I know you traveled with the team to Berlin. I'm sure that inspired you as well, just seeing those guys run out
Yeah.
there. And now that you've gone through the process, and you were part of our training process too, right? Our early morning runs on Tuesdays and Thursdays across the bridges and at Wingate Park. What was the biggest lesson that you learned during the training for this NYC marathon?
The big lesson I learned was you have to prepare. And the morning runs that we did, some Tuesdays, Thursdays, those really helped me prepare and keep myself like focused. Okay, this is the goal, but these are the steps to get there. You just don't finish immediately. You need to prep yourself. And so getting up early, getting accustomed to getting up early, doing these runs, especially when we did those runs across the bridge, that for me was like really great. It kept me focused on this is what I have to do. I have to do these bridges. I have to get myself accustomed to doing it because I had never run the bridges before. And just the discipline for me was the most important thing. The discipline of getting my body ready to do this marathon. Yes, I can do this. I'm going to do this. I'm definitely ready for this. And I'm glad I did it. It was a lot of fun with my group, being out there with all my Spartan crew, my KBT crew. Yeah, I enjoyed myself. I'm glad everybody did it. Everybody finished. There were no injuries. Yes, this was really great, really great. And two good coaches, even though at times I would, under my breath, curse their name. But I'm glad for you guys. We love you, man. We love you guys. We couldn't do this without you. We love you. Just want to
We
let you know
appreciate
that.
you guys too. Yeah, we appreciate you guys too, Garth. And you're one of the original members of Spartan. One of our first races we did in 2011. You were there for us. You've seen the progression of us doing our Spartan races to these road races. And the progression has been seamless in the sense that it's all, like you said, about discipline, putting yourself out there and recognizing that training is integral. What's next for you moving forward? I mean, now that you've gotten through NYC, and I know you've mentioned Berlin to me a couple of times. Well, what's next on the docket for you for 2022?
I could not believe myself thinking this, that I'm running the race. When I came out of Harlem to Central Park, and I'm thinking, I saw somebody in a Berlin shirt. I'm like, yeah, don't worry. I have one, but next year I'll earn it. Don't worry about that. And now I got this bug. I'm like, okay, people are signing up for this. I signed up for Berlin. And I said, okay, I guess I'll go on and sign up for Chicago. What if I get into both? They're like a week apart. Can you do this? I'm like, yeah, I can do this. I can do this. I'm ready for this. So it's been a good journey for me personally. It's shown me that I can do certain things once I set my mind to it. And also the discipline of preparing for it. You just don't do it. You set yourself a goal, and it's a little incremental steps that you take that will get you to your goal. If you stay focused, you stay prayed up, the Lord will help you get there. Yes.
Amazing.
Yes.
Amazing. This is called the marathon fever. It's going around. It's COVID-19, and then it's the marathon fever. It's out there.
Yeah.
There's no vaccine for this. It is what it is. So,
It
Garth
is.
Jack, congrats to you. I appreciate you. Happy birthday, my friend. Enjoy the
Thank
moment,
you.
and
Thank
we will
you.
see
Thank you,
you
guys.
next season. Yes, sir.
Yep.
Folks, I'm trying to tell you, it's out there. I don't know what it is, but when this fever hits, it hits hard. And someone else who has the fever are two friends that I want to bring on the show right now. We have Juanita, aka Nini, and Lunice, aka Titi Nini, Auntie Boo. Ladies, what is going on?
Hello.
Hey.
Yeah, I like the swag. Y'all look fantastic today. I wanted to bring you guys both on together because I met Juanita through you, Auntie Boo, right? And I wanted to make sure that our friendships were just highlighted because without meeting Auntie Boo, there'd be no Juanita. So we're so thankful that you introduced your friend to us, who's now our friend, that we've made our girl. So we appreciate that so much. So welcome up to the show. And Juanita, we had you on the show before. So welcome back to the show again.
Thank you.
Now, Juanita, I know that we've mentioned a number of things in the past about your fitness company, but you've mentioned personally that you were not always the most athletic person growing up. How does it feel now to be part of the 1% Club for your first marathon?
It feels great. Like, whoo. But no, definitely. And I still don't consider myself athletic, but I do care about fitness. So it's just being a part of the marathon is just taking that to the next level.
Listen, I gotta correct you. I had a guest on the show. Her name is Caroline Stout. She's an ultra marathoner, and I said I've only done 5 marathons. I don't really consider myself a marathoner. She said, no, you're a marathoner. So Juanita, I don't care what you say. You're a marathoner. You're athletic. It is what it is. Embrace it. Cherish it. Tell your friends. Tell everybody, because that's where you are right now. It's true. It's true. There's no way around it now. You rock that medal. You cross that line. It is what it is. Auntie Boo, I gotta thank you again for introducing us to your girl. But you mentioned also that part of your steps to greatness journey, right? Because you've done so many things with us, and I appreciate both of you. Folks that probably don't know, but we have a number of sponsors who sponsor the Be More Today show and have so from the beginning. It's actually these two ladies. They've been putting in a lot of support for the Be More Today show from its inception. So thank you guys so much for all your love. But Auntie Boo, I know that you've been so integral in terms of my journey with the Be More Today stuff, from my book to our challenges. And you mentioned even in the book that you were putting in these things that you wanted to do this race. It was part of your journey. It was part of your steps to greatness. Now you have the gold drip, right? You got the drip now. How does it feel? How's it feel for you right now?
Oh, it feels great. I'm still in awe. If you follow me on Instagram or Facebook, you see that I've just been posting all week. I don't apologize for it. You're gonna get it because um I knew I could do it, but as you do the training, as you start doing it, you realize, do I really want to do this? What am I doing this for? All of that runs through your head. Like, I don't have anything to prove because I'm not competitive at all. So, Ish put in there, do it my own way. Yes, I was going to do it my own way in the Instagram post. And I've always told y'all, leave me alone. Let me do it my own way. But so it's like, it was really me being motivated with God on my side, telling me, just go. And the thing is, what's so funny was I just wanted to do it because I wanted the medal. That's all I wanted, was the medal. And after seeing y'all cross the finish line in 2019, I just said, you know what? I think I could do this. But I was like, I'm going to walk it. But, practicing with you all, I started running more and realized the benefits of running. So I'm just happy that I actually did it. I challenged myself. Juanita's part of the reason why I'm doing this too, because when y'all gave us the invitation, I was just like, I don't know. I already gave up because of 2020, and then for 2021 to come, I was just ready to do 2 halves and call it my marathon and do a day. But she was like, no, this is favor. We didn't have to do the 9+1. We got the invitation. Let's just do it. And I was just like, okay, I'll do it.
Yeah. And you did it. You did it your way. Like everyone does the race their own way. I mean, that's the beauty of it. You can run it. You can walk it. You can be in a wheelchair. You can be on crutches. You can walk it backwards. I mean, everyone does what they have to do to get that drip. And yeah, I mean, you see my medals here. That's why I do this stuff. We do it for them. We do it, it's training is fantastic, but there is something about the accomplishment of getting a prize after you've done something. And I'm not gonna lie to you, there's some races where I don't even do because I'm like, oh, what's the, oh, there's no medal? Okay, no, I'm good. And sometimes you need that motivation. You need that to get you to train and to push for those things. So there is nothing wrong with trying to get that drip, whether it's gold or whatever it is. So keep doing that. Keep doing that for sure. Listen, Juanita, back to you. I know that on season 1 that we talked about, coached by Cabello, right? And you proved that this marathon can truly be done, right? I know you have your own following with your clients. What has been their response to your journey for your newest accomplishment?
Nothing but love, support, and just really like I'm their superhero. And I'm like, no, if I can do it, you guys can do it. So I think it gave them a little push to see, because I was very vocal with my knee starting to hurt, telling them I had to walk this. So letting them know it doesn't have to look like everybody else. And that's just with your own health journey. It doesn't have to look like everyone else's, but you have to start. And I think them seeing me pick a goal, work through my goal, and actually achieve the goal, and that's where we start at the beginning of the program, just gave them the motivation to like continue trying.
Yeah. And again, it's crazy because a lot of people mentioned when they saw Arthur and I run in 17 that sparked them to want to do it. So you never know how your training and how you crossing that line and you showing your medical to your friends and family may inspire somebody else in that same group that you have now to say, you know what, I can do it. If Denise can do it, if Juanita can do it, then I know I can do it. So it's an effect that keeps going down and down the line. I would just say continue to do that and continue to inspire people no matter what goes on. Auntie Boo, you actually put in your Instagram post that a quote, Habakkuk 2 verses 2 and 3 was the vision for you, and that this was the appointed time, seeing you cross that line, and that's actually something that I put in my book, the same Bible quote. What have you learned from this experience, right? This training experience, this time frame of looking at where you were, seeing where you are now, and the vision that was put out there from the beginning. What have you learned from this entire process, if anything?
I've learned that anything is possible. What you think is impossible, God says, no, it's possible. Because like I said, it was in 2020. We, before the pandemic and everything, I was just like, okay, I'm going to do this. I'm going to do this. And when the pandemic came, it was canceled. And then even because I remember we also put in a lottery for the London marathon, and that didn't go through too. So I was just like, okay, maybe it's just not meant to be. And that's why I said the appointed time. It's not meant to be. I don't need to do a marathon. And remember, I already wrote this down. And I want to just encourage people, when you have goals, when you have things to do, you say this in your book too, write it down, write it down, because it was so funny. I went back to the book and I looked at what I wrote down, and I said, I really did say I was going to do this marathon. And now I'm doing it. Even when I felt like a week, 2 weeks before the marathon, I had a bad sciatica, like I would say attack, because it attacked me. And I really thought I might not be able to run this. And I was like, no. And Dr. Sean, you give me different ways or different exercises and stretches to do. I went just crazy, and I just started doing it every day, twice a day, anything you said for me to do. So by the time by the time it was time to do the marathon, I was ready. And I still have issues with the sciatica, but it's getting better, because now I'm like, okay, I have to be more disciplined. So this tells me to be more disciplined. It also increased my faith, because now it's like, if you can do this, and this right now was one of the most challenging things that I've done in my life. So if I could do this, then anything's possible. The business adventures, anything that I'm planning can and will happen. I just have to do the preparation, keep on moving. Even if you get stuck a little bit, or you feel like, oh man, this is not going to work out, just keep pushing, keep praying, keep doing whatever you have to do in order to make sure that it works out. So it's been like an eye opener for me.
Yeah,
so
that's a big statement. Listen, both of you mentioned that you as part of Spartan Sundays Running Club, it embraces all speeds, bodies, shapes, sizes, etc., abilities. But running was not the first option or the first even thought for either of you. How has this running club changed your perspective on running?
Juanita, you go first.
Okay. So it lets me know that I can do it, right? And that's just been a thing. Everyone can run their own race. You don't have to be a specific size to run. I mean, I have heard people say, oh, well, runners are lean. And I don't consider myself to be lean at all. But you see, during a race, you see all types of body sizes, and they're doing it. I mean, and they're running, not just walking, they're running. So you train your body to do anything, no matter what size you are. You might have to start off walking and then you go to a jog, but just becoming part of the running club and you guys embracing all of us and instilling that trust that you can get through the finish line, no matter how it looks like. There's no judgment. That changed my perspective on running, which also just changed my perspective regarding fitness overall.
Auntie Boo?
I still hate running. I'm just going to be honest with you. I still hate it. I hate it. I do not like it at all, but I do see the benefits of running, and that's what's pushing me. And sometimes the benefits outweigh our hate for it, and when you want something, or because it's not just, just the losing of the weight and the trimming down, but just the meditation that you have, like just that time. It's such a good sort of therapy, especially during the pandemic when you're stuck in the house and so much stuff is happening. You're hearing all of this stuff about death and everything else. And I take that time to listen to podcasts and Be More Today. I listen to the Words for Life podcast. I listen to sermons from, Steve Furtick and Mike Todd and Dr. Darius Daniels. And I listen to different kind of things. And even from our church, sometimes I listen to Dr. Charles Wesley Knight and just listen to stuff. It's kind of like my way of connecting with God all over again. And I usually like to do it first thing in the morning. And also for him to remind me of something. Sometimes I forget my headphones and then I'm like, oh, so you want to talk personally to me now, God. Or my headphones will just go off. And I'm like, I charged it. Oh, you want to talk personally while we're running. And so it's kind of a devotional time for me. The running and I'm actually proud of myself that I'm still doing it, even though I hate it so much. So I do have a different perspective. I do encourage people, even if you hate it, to do it. I know my cousin said that one time. She was like, I hate running, but I want to run a marathon. I said, I hate it too, but I'm doing it. So, yeah.
Juanita, what's next for you for 2022?
Well, I was just listening to Aguiana Vizant. She has this global community, and she said 2022 is for business, building, balance, and boundaries. And I took that on. So that's what's next, working on those things. And you could work on those things in every area of your life. So balance, business, building, and boundaries. And also just to be more.
I love it. Auntie Boo, same question.
I'm going to continue running. Okay. I'm going to continue running. I'm actually debating about this first. I don't know why I'm saying this. I'm debating about this first half marathon in January. And only because you said they have a nice hat and they have a nice medal. So that's the only reason why I'm thinking about it. Because it's like a half is nothing. That's it. Okay. So I'm debating about that, but also just pursuing the things that I have in mind, some businesses, trying to get myself better professionally. Because like I said, right now, I feel like the sky is the limit. Awesome. Anything can be done. Just push forward. Anything, even if you get no's, your no is just a setup for your yes. Yeah.
I like that right there. I was trying to find a medal for you, but we'll have to find it on the course. Awesome. Ladies, thank you so much for being on this show today. We appreciate both of you so much. And excited for the bees and excited for 2022. Let's get it. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Especially thank you and Ish.
Yes.
We couldn't do it without you. So thank you.
No problem.
Yes, even though I wanted to curse you out all the time. But I do appreciate y'all and I love you both.
No problem. We love you too. Folks, again, there's so many stories. It's we could do this all day. We're going to showcase one more set of sisters actually on the show, and these sisters, we could do a whole show on their lives in general. It's like that. We are in the presence of the White sisters. We got Veronica, aka Lady V. We got Sylvia, aka Silly. And Vanessa, aka White Glove Fitness. Ladies, what is going on? How are we?
Hi, how are you?
Hello, how are you? So
good.
nice to
Excited
see
see
you.
all you guys together. Yes, it's so good to see all you guys together. It's been a week since the Epic Sunday, and everybody's rocking their medals, and everybody looks so fantastic. And I want to have you all on the show together because I feel like the three of you are a powerhouse team. And I thought it'd be awesome to have you all on together because I don't think a lot of people know about the White sisters in general. So the world needs to know about you guys collectively. So I'm gonna start with Veronica first. So Veronica, you mentioned, you ran when you were younger, but you experienced a lot of knee issues. And as someone who's had knee issues also, I relate very well to that. You said it forced you actually to stop running. How did your knees feel during this race as your first marathon?
Well, they were pretty good. I can't complain. That it was since I was speed walking and not really running, I made sure I took care of myself. It was after that I kind of felt something. but I just kept on going. A little twinge here, a little twinge there, but I kept on going. And I did speak to my doctor before, like a month before the marathon, just to see how bad it was. And he says, "No, you're doing good." So I was like, "All right, I haven't hurt myself, so keep on going." When I injured myself in high school, it was running the hurdles. I came down wrong after doing cross country all summer long. I'm like, I can finally go into, track and field. I can finally do it, and I practicing on the hurdles, it came down wrong, and that was all she wrote. So.
Well. So the fact that you even got back out there and started running, even speed walking / running is incredible by itself. I mean, that's great. Yeah, that's great. Sylvia, I know you also were faced with a decision to run or not to run, right? This race about a month ago. You and I had a conversation where you were on the fence about even doing it. What was the deciding factor for you to commit to say, I'm doing NYC this year?
Well, it's interesting that you should mention that, Sean, because I felt that during the year, I didn't train as I should have. And when the opportunity came about with Ish saying, "Oh, we have the slot available and you can run with your sisters, wouldn't that be great?" And that was so enticing. And then training with Vanessa, I then felt something in the gym and the twinge, but listening to your body is important. I did not ignore it. I went to my orthopedic surgeon and had the MRI and found out that I had a meniscus tear. And depending on how bad that tear is, will determine whether you have surgery or let it heal on its own. After speaking with you and really having that hands-on approach that you do so well and your staff, and following the instructions, the exercises, doing the PT there on site and at home, and listening to my body. A lot of people said, no, you shouldn't do it. But I said, the opportunity is now. When will I get another opportunity to be with my sisters? It's the 50 years of the 50th anniversary of the New York Marathon. I feel good. The flexibility was coming back. And instead of running, I would walk. I said, now's the time. Now's the time.
Incredible. That's inspiring by itself. And I know a lot of people would have probably said, oh, there's always next year. But, as we all know, tomorrow is never promised. And the fact that you said this is the year, what better way to do it with your sisters in NYC at this time? So I'm glad that you stepped up to the task and you got it done. Vanessa, White Glove Fitness. I've had you on the show before, so welcome back. We appreciate you.
Thank you.
You and I have done a number of things together in terms of fitness for various conferences and what have you. You've also been on Spartan Sundays doing stuff for us. But I know you had a hand situation this year that kind of threw you off. How did that affect your training for NYC?
Well, actually, I thought it was going to slow me down because when I first had the incident and I was doing burpees, running backward, and I somehow just threw my hands out and, of course, braced my fall with my hands, I thought it would really inhibit my training. But after 2 weeks and seeing the orthopedist and getting a splint up to my elbow, I went right back to the gym. So I was running out there with the splint on, 16 miles or whatever, with the splint all the way up to my elbow, and just making sure that I kept going and back in the gym doing, our strength training. And so it didn't, I want to say it didn't inhibit me at all. I of course, I feel that it's there because I have the brace on, and now I have to have corrective surgery because it's now completely healed, but not in the way that I can do a push-up or even grab something. So that might put me out for a few weeks going forward, but it didn't really inhibit me at all out there during the marathon.
Incredible. So many stories. Ladies, I'm really impressed by all of this. And, I'm curious, Veronica, you talked about before beating cancer, right? You beat cancer, and now you can say you crossed this marathon also off your bucket list. What's one of the major lessons you learned about yourself during this training process for this year?
What I learned is that just to say this again, God beat cancer. I didn't beat anything. I just leaned on him because I didn't do it, and he helped us get over the finish line for sure. The lesson I learned is that if you want to do something, you have to put your mind to it. There are so many excuses in my head why I couldn't train on my own because I live a little bit ways from you guys and away from Sylvia and Vanessa because they're in the Bronx, I'm in Queens. And the community is so important because when I heard, and I joined late and always, I joined sporadically, but we have a call for Spartan Sundays Run Club. And I heard that Lunice made a plan to get up early to run. Because me, I was like, I got Ezekiel, I got work, da da da. But she made a plan, like lay out your clothes beforehand and run. I said, you know what? I can do that. And I don't even think that she knows that she inspired me to make sure I got myself together. But she did. I got my behind together, literally. And I started getting up at 4:30 in the morning to make sure it happened. And you just decide that you want to do it and you get it done. And next thing you know, that was my thing, getting up 4:30, 4 o'clock in the morning, getting done. When I had to do my 20 miles, I did it by myself. First thing, got up 4 o'clock in the morning on Sunday, started, finished by 12. Okay, done. I just did it. And it was, we need to lift each other up as a group in all things. But in particular for this marathon, the inspiration of the whole group, whatever we were going through, we just said, but we're going to do it and we're going to make a plan. And that's what kept me going during this marathon.
Yeah, absolutely. A lot of people don't know or don't see the hours that go into the training behind the scenes, right? The early morning time, the after work time, even between work time that really goes into logging these miles. You said 10 miles, 15 miles, 20-mile runs that you're doing, especially toward the latter part of the training period. So, it's easy to say, oh yeah, we got the medal, it's great. And, I can't do that. But if you don't see the process that goes into it, it makes sense when you see that. But all people see is just the medal, and all they see are the accolades. But so much happens on behind the scenes, and especially, when they're injuries, right? When people get hurt and then you're talking about dealing with injury while you're training, right? Training through pain and discomfort and trying to figure out, well, should I go out today? Should I not go out today? Should I rest on this day? It's a lot of stuff that goes into all of these things. So it's a bigger growth process that I think more people really get a chance to experience until you've actually done it. But when you've done it, you just appreciate it so much. And then when you see these people who are running like 2 hours and 2:30, you're like, wow, what are they doing? That is what we're doing now, but like on just a different level. There are levels to this thing, right? They're doing it on a grander scale. So it's mind-boggling to see where this thing can go. But it's all the same. Like you said, Veronica, this weekend, where you come in first, you come in dead last. You finish
same medal.
Same medal. So it's amazing in that aspect. Sylvia, what was the most memorable part of the race for you?
That's an interesting question because there are so many that I could bring to my mind and share with you all. But I must say, Vanessa and I work out with, I must say, Steve B. And Steve B, we owe so much to him, as well as to Uncle Ish and to Dr. Sean. But Steve B gives you the head mantra. He gives you, don't stop, keep on going. You got this. You can do it. It's all you, that kind of thing. And I had to repeat that in my head during the last 3 miles when Veronica had to hold my hand and drag me with her fast walking self and through Central Park and said, no, we're not stopping. We're not going slow. We're going to have back straight, head up, and we're going to cross that finish line together. She would not leave me. She left me earlier during the race, but she would not leave me. And with that mantra and with my sister pulling me and then, memorizing those verses that we need to memorize from the Bible, expand your territory, you're a child of the King, etc. Those are the things in Central Park that I can remember that was so memorable for me. My younger sister holding my hand. I'm so appreciative to have her with me in this journey, and to be with her and to cross the finish line with her as well.
Awesome. Awesome. Vanessa, White Glove Etiquette. I know that you have always been a fitness junkie and you put a lot of things out there. Why has fitness for you been so integral, and how has the shift from the strength and conditioning to the running been in terms of your adaptation to now running and doing more things out there on the road?
Well, I always was into fitness. Being all three of us, we all were on the track team. We all ran early in junior high school, and some of college I did. And even to this day, my mother in her 80s, she's into fitness as well. She goes to the Y. So I guess it runs, through the blood of the family. And it's just a matter of keeping yourself healthy. I want to look a certain way. I feel like, I really want to look a certain way and admire the things that I do, the results from the things that I do in the gym. And I think that quite a few of us can say the same thing. And in terms of just being healthy and just keep on going. We have a 4-year-old nephew, Sylvia and I, that we have to keep up with now. So we really have to keep ourselves healthy. And Veronica and Terrence, they have this son that they have to run after as well. So fitness has always been an integral part and just very important for me.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm, mm-hmm. I hear that. Shout out to Big Zeke. Shout out to Terrence as well, my guy. Now I gotta bring this up because it's only right. Veronica, I was there at the end when you guys were coming across Central Park, and I was with your husband. I was with him, and we were both cheering you on. And I said, Terrence, you want to do it again? He said, Nah. You don't know my wife. This is it. She's done. It's over. And I said, Terrence, I hear what you're saying. You're gonna want to do it again. He said, "No, you don't know my wife. She's done. She's done." I said, "Okay." When she tells you that she wants to do it again, just text me. Send me a text saying you're right. And then we went in the chat. We have a Spartan chat, right? And Veronica was one day just said, "Is it strange that I think I want to do this thing again?" To which I immediately said, "Veronica, please, can you just share that information with your husband?" He said, "Why? Did you make a bet on me or something? Or what's going on?" I said, "No, it wasn't a bet. It was more like a guarantee. Just go tell him what you just shared with me." And then I got a video that I'm going to cherish the rest of my life. Sharing the information with Terrence, and Terrence succeeding to me in the video saying that I was right. Because there's a certain thing called the marathon fever that people don't know about. Right. And when you do this thing, that you train for this thing for months, and you go through it, and you all this, and you want to be done, all of a sudden you go through this thing, you say, you know what? That was crazy. I want to do it again. And that's how I'm at number 5. And I think that is just one of the things that when you start to go through this thing, you recognize that it can't just be one and done. It has to be, okay, so what's going to be next? So my question for you ladies now is, what is next for 2022? And Veronica, I'm going to start with you.
What is next for 2022? I need to do the New York Marathon again. I need to do the New York Marathon again. I need to do it again. I want to do Chicago Marathon. I want to do that one. I don't know about getting on a plane to do a marathon. I'm not there yet, but I want to do Chicago Marathon. I want to get good numbers and maybe do the Boston Marathon. Who knows? As I'm saying this right now, my knee is starting to hurt, but this is what I want to do. And it's the fever. It's the continuous training, the schedule that you have. Even though I was grateful not to wake up at 4:00 in the morning this week, but I'm like, I got to start next week. I got to get up before. Why? You're not training for a marathon, but I am for the next one, for whatever next one there is. I got to get my numbers up. I got the shakes. But that's what I want. And God willing, I will, because I like these. And I like what it did to my body. And like what it did to my mind. So yeah, I kind of like what's the results, both mind and body and spirit.
Sylvia, same question, please.
Wow, that's a loaded question. You know, you started with Veronica first, and she just rattled off how many marathons she wants to do and all this waking up early. You know, she led me across that finish line. You think I'm going to let my younger sister upstage me? Okay, just one second. That's not going to happen. That's not going to happen. That's not going to happen. So this morning, recovery run. Yes, recovery run. I've been doing it, putting it in all week. I got the schedule, adding more days to my workout so that by January, I'm in some kind of shape, and also continuing with my PT. And, you know, just let's make a plan, sisters, as to which races we're going to do. It is a mindset. And even today at the gym, just knowing that I had a medal saying that I did complete the New York Marathon, it has infused a level of inspiration. Your inspiration level and cred goes up. So it's inspiration cred that we're talking about. And thanks to you, Dr. Sean and Uncle Ish, we are able to stand here and just kind of like wallow in it and take it further. Yeah.
And Vanessa, lastly, same question as well.
I look forward to doing another NYC marathon, and I said that this one was going to be the last, but because this second one wasn't as intimidating as the first one, Ish was very instrumental in laying out the groundwork. And being that we knew the route beforehand, it was like, okay, we're here. We did this 10 miles here. We did this 16 miles here. Or we did this. So it was just a matter of just getting through it. So wanting to do that, also wanting to do Chicago as well, and possibly Tokyo. I don't know why I threw that in there, but I thought about it. I'd like to take a vacation to Tokyo. So to do that, that would be awesome. And that's what I'm looking forward to, just doing another marathon, strengthening my quads, my hamstrings, all of us with our knees, knee issues. But I can be truthful in saying that my knee didn't bother me at all. My goal really for this next marathon, next NYC marathon, is to beat my time as I wanted to beat my time with this one, and I did, but I can do better, as I was told. So, yeah.
Amazing, amazing. You guys are incredible. I love all of you so much. My last question, who's the most competitive white sister of the three of you?
Vanessa.
There we go. Quick. So that must be true because she didn't even say anything. So I'm gonna go with that. Thank you so much, ladies. I appreciate all of you.
Thank you. And Uncle Ish.
Yes.
Sean and Uncle Ish.
That's right.
Yes.
No
Ish
problem
was
at all. No
amazing.
problem.
You guys are just amazing. Thank
I don't
you
know where
so
you get
much.
it from, but it's wonderful.
No
Yes.
problem. No problem. Awesome. We'll see you guys next year for sure. And folks, listen, we've showcased so many people for this first section of the Be More Today show, and we're gonna have to cut it here, but it's not over. We're gonna do a part 2 for next week. So don't forget our quote from today. To get through the hardest journey, we need to take one step at a time, but we must keep on stepping. Again, just follow us on all of our platforms, BeMoreToday.com for my book, the podcast information, which is on all major podcast platforms, and our YouTube page, which has our workouts as well. Continue to follow the Spartan Sundays Running Club, which you'll find on Instagram and on Facebook as well. Any questions you want to send me directly, as always, Dr. Sean at BeMoreToday.com or any of our social media platforms as well. And as I always say, folks, have a great day, have a great night, have a great life, and continue to take your steps of greatness to be the best version of you. I will see you next week. Peace. What's going on, folks? It's your boy here, Dr. Sean Thomas, episode 82, part 2 of our special marathon edition of the Be More Today show. We are back in the building. And folks, this is our second portion of the Be More Today show. We are doing this because the marathon happened, and there's so many people that I want to just highlight from my running club, the Be More Today. I mean, the Spartan Sundays Running Club. But as always, Be More Today is a movement continuing to go forward, doing so many things. We're on Facebook, Instagram, and our Strava group is popping right now. So if you're on Strava, please go and join our group, the Strava group. If you're a runner, walker, jogger, etc., go out there and join us and be a part of the movement. Our website, BeMoreToday.com, has everything from my book, our podcast information, our swag store is open with some great swag stuff for the winter time, and our sweatshirts and hats. And as always, Be More Today show continues to push forward now in 46 countries. We are moving, grooving, growing, and it's all thanks to your love and support. And I thank you guys so much for what you've done for us. As always, there's a Be More Today challenge in January. January 1st, we're doing our Steps to Greatness challenge. It's going to be actually a calorie challenge. So 40 days of any kind of fitness you want to do, running, walking, jogging, swimming. But we're going to be logging our calories, not our miles per se, but how many calories you're actually burning for 40 days. That's going to be our goal for our next challenge, starting January 1st. So look out for that. And my quote for today is the same as last week because it's still poignant for our post-marathon runners. To get through the hardest journey, we need to take one step at a time. We must keep on stepping. Folks, I am privileged to be a part of a running club that had 24 runners finish the NYC Marathon this year. And we highlighted some of them last week. We want to continue to highlight them this week as well. And again, we had 3 people who were not with us for the show, Racine, Marquise, and Heather, but the other 21 people are here and have been sharing their stories. And the next person I have on this docket is special to me because she's my boo. So, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, she's been on the show before. You know her as Attorney Pie, but she's also a 3-time marathoner in the books, and she's my boo, aka Pie Cakes. Boo boo boo, Pie Cakes. What is going on? Oh, is that Sonali on as well? Hello, So. What's going on, Mama? So we are so happy to have you guys with us. It's been a blessing and a privilege and an honor, really, to have you guys on the show. And Sonali, you look so beautiful as always. But Pie Cakes, how's it feel? 3 marathons in the books. How are you feeling, my dear? That's fantastic. Oh, I'm proud of you. You know, it's been amazing seeing your journey. I don't know how someone like you gets to marathons as someone who's been so busy with work and being a mom, but you did it. And the word on the street is that you don't train for these things as much as someone probably should. Is that true, and why? It's okay. Let's do that. Let's do that. Yeah, let's do that. We're having some technical difficulties, folks. We're gonna try this again. It's all good. That's when you do a live thing like this, those kind of things happen. So I want to make sure that my boo-boo gets on here for sure, for sure. And when she comes on, we'll do it again. In the meantime, we're gonna have on our girl Keitha Rhoden, who's also been on the show in the past and is making her second appearance on the show. Keitha, what is going on?
Oh, hi, Dr. Sean. Thank you so much for having me. I'm doing well. How are you?
I am very good, my dear. It's great to see you. Listen, you've been on the show before. We appreciate you so much. And this is your first marathon that's now in the books. So how
Yes.
does it feel? How does it feel to be outside of your comfort zone? You mentioned your comfort zone is not so much this, but you've made it now your comfort zone in training, completing your first marathon in the biggest city in the world. How does it feel now, a week out?
Okay, so it's absolutely surreal. I think that I'm now kind of settling into the whole idea that I completed a marathon. It was really intense, but in a good way. I'm next to my comfort zone. I had made the decision to run in 2020. And then, of course, because of the pandemic, that didn't happen for me. And when the idea came up, I was thinking to do it in 2022. So I kind of put my mind to doing it in 2022. But then when the opportunity came up, I was like, to run in 2021, I was like, okay, so maybe I can do this. So I kind of pretty much just prayed on it. I've been asking God to give me some opportunities to be more courageous. And I felt like this was actually an opportunity that came up. So I pressed forward and I stepped out of my comfort zone and I did not regret it. Going through the training was really intense for me personally, even though I do run, because I was a part of the run club long before doing the marathon. I just felt like I did not have the stamina to kind of move forward with the marathon. And I was just concerned about my ability to kind of keep up, right? Even though there's an opportunity to walk the marathon, I kind of felt like I wanted to run it. So I had that kind of goal that I had set for myself. So I just felt like, you know what? I'm going to try this and see how things go. So when Ish gave me the opportunity to switch 2022 to 2021, I took it. And the rest is history.
Amazing. Listen, you know you mentioned on your social media page that your PCP recommended being more active and choosing running as a self-care activity was a good thing. Now, you've been on the show actually in the past talking about self-care and the benefits of it and how integral it can really be to make sure that you balance your life with taking care of yourself. As a social worker, you know, how important is it that you practiced, right, your self-care activities yourself and you actually are doing what you preach? How important is that for you in dealing with your clients and your profession?
Well, that's absolutely important to me because I feel like when you do practice what you preach, you connect with people in a very authentic way. A very big part of my job is the helping relationship that I build with my clients. So being able to help people process their experiences while kind of pulling on the examples that I can pull from my own life, I think is very powerful. I am in a place where self-care is very, very important to me, not only talking about it professionally, but actually doing the work. And running is actually one of my most effective forms of self-care right now. Not only the running part of it for me to feel good physically, but it's the emotional part of it. It's the psychological part of it. It's the spiritual part of it, right? And I feel like the Spartan Sundays Run Club has all of those things kind of like packaged a certain way. So it kind of helps me tap into every part of the self-care journey and the categories that of self-care.
Yeah.
So I really feel really happy that I was able to not only practice self-care along the way and kind of talk about my journey, but also learn to kind of focus in on how I could strengthen my self-care practices, right? So in terms of making really deep and authentic connection with others, I feel like the club helped me to do that. Even though it's not the focus of running is really for yourself, like physically, but I feel that this experience of training and doing the marathon helped me connect authentically with other people, which was really, really a positive experience for me. Shout out to my running buddy, Sharon Dagru, Best, that we stuck together throughout the entire marathon. And that was such an amazing experience for me. And I'm so happy in terms of that. I'm also really living my values is very important to me. I value health. I value God. I value my mental health. I value authentic connections with others. And I just feel like this whole experience allowed me to really live out my values in a very loud way. So I was just so excited to be a part of the whole experience.
Yeah, well, I'm glad you did it. You did it with flying colors, and shout out to the Trini crew. Got to do that. Trini crew is definitely in the house for this marathon. Listen, what's the one thing you learned about yourself during this time? You know, a lot of people learn a lot of things in the training process, in the race too, but the training for it, I think, is where a lot of the growth really happens for people. What's the one thing you learned about yourself during that training time?
I think I learned that I'm stronger than I think, in whether physically, emotionally, psychologically. I'm a very ambitious person by nature. So when I set my mind to something, I kind of push towards it, regardless of how I feel sometimes. You know, I still press because I want to live up to my word. So I learned that I am stronger than I think. I also am able to enjoy the process and not just focus on the end goal. Like that was something really big for me during our runs, our training runs. I would take pictures of our beautiful city, which I'm so amazed by the pictures that I took, and it really spoke to the experience that I was having in the moment, taking the pictures and really taking in everything. And I really learned that I could enjoy the process and not always focus too much on the end goal, because I think sometimes when we focus on the end goal, it can become a little overwhelming. But if it is that we kind of focus on the process step by step, that could be more enjoyable. So that's what I learned about myself, that I could actually enjoy the process, and I'm stronger than I think. And with God on my side, I can do anything I put my mind to.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. I always say trust the process, and I think that's one of the things that is the hardest thing to do. But when you really start to do it just makes everything a lot easier when you actually are just recognizing that what you're doing is right. You're on the right track. You're on the right page. Just keep doing it, keep pushing, and you will see results. So I'm proud of you, Keith. I
Absolutely.
gotta say, yeah, you did your thing this year, and I'm excited to see, as everyone has already shared so far, what's next on the docket for them. What's next for you for 2022?
Well, in terms of what's next for me, I would focus more on like definitely continuing to run and races of all lengths. I do want to do a marathon in another city, and possibly another country as well. So I also want to work on on running well, right, and really integrating all those techniques that we talked about in terms of my breathing, strengthening my body in different ways so that I can run well, right? And also to decrease the time that I did this time around. I really wasn't focused on time this time around, but moving forward, I really want to focus on my pace and my time. So those are
Yeah,
the two things that I really want to focus on, and to continue running. It's been working for me, and I love it. And I
yeah.
love the Spartan Sunday Run Club. And I really appreciate both you and Ish and all the support that you've given us through the journey. It was highly appreciated, and we would not been able to do what we did without the support that you guys provided. So I really appreciate that as well. So I look
Awesome.
forward to continuing with you guys in the Run Club, whatever God has in store for us.
Awesome. We appreciate you too, Keith. Thank you so much for all you've done and for being a part of the running club. And yeah, we'll see what's in store for 2020. Looking forward to it.
Okay, bye. Thank
No
you.
problem. No problem. Folks, we got back my wife and my daughter Sanaya. They're on the call right now. Pie Cakes, aka Pie Cakes. What's going on, my dear? No, we're having a hard time hearing her still. We're gonna try to come back to her in a little bit. If not, have to have her come downstairs, which is all good. We're gonna move forward on now to our miles upon miles, Sharon, aka Sharon Jagru, Trinity Song.
Hi,
What's
Dr.
going
Sean. How are
on?
you?
I'm good. How are you?
Good. Feeling, mighty fine.
Yes, yes, I see, I see. Listen, you of all the people in the group, I gotta say, you've been killing it this year in terms of mileage, right? We had a Be More Today 4-day challenge earlier this year, and you basically led our team to qualifying for one of the top 3 spots for that challenge. And then you go on to run your first ever NYC marathon. Did you ever think that you'd be putting in this many miles at this point in your life?
Not at all. And to be honest, even with the 40-day challenge, I didn't even realize up to a certain point that I was even leading. I didn't even know how to check it. But when I started with the year, I said, you know what, all these pandemic pounds, I am not having it. So I'm going to be moving. What I said I was going to do is join, different challenges. I did the Be More Today, the Grid. I had other virtual challenges going on. So I just knew that would push me, especially during the cold months, to really get out there and put that mileage in.
Awesome. Awesome. And you did that. And I got to say, I was really impressed by you because you pretty much set the standard for us early on. You got out there, you were putting in miles early on this year, and it really sparked, even me, it really sparked a lot of us to say, you know what, it's go time. It's time to get outside. It's time to put things down, to take this thing seriously. And it paid off. It paid off big time. Listen, what was the difference for you? I know you had a chance to do the race last year, and it was a fear that you mentioned.
Oh, definitely.
This year was definitely different for you. You seem fearless this year. What was the difference between this year and 2019 for you in terms of what race?
So 2019, what had happened was I thought a half marathon was my end. I did the Staten Island half. I was like, that's the end of my running. Then I was told, no, we should probably do the marathon. The bad thing is I joined the group training runs when you guys did like a 14 to 16, something like that type of mileage. That was the longest I have ever tried to run. And that just put a fear in me because I was like, wait, I still have to go like 10 or maybe 12 more miles after this. I literally stopped and I was like, no, this is too scary for me. I'm not doing it. I'm not having it. This year, though, I knew I had a missed opportunity. So when the opportunity arose, I was like, okay, you know what? Definitely, I'm taking it. And this year I trained. So when I joined the training runs, it was at a lower mileage and my body was able to get used to, doing longer runs and building up to it and getting used to it. So that definitely was a difference.
That's incredible. And it also shows that when you put that work in, right, you can definitely get over those hurdles. And a lot of that fear that we keep up is just that, right? It's just fear of the unknown, fear of what can happen. But when you put that training into it, then the fear goes away. I mean, the smile that you had when we saw you crossing about to finish at mile 25 lets me know that you were really prepared for this thing. You were really prepared for this thing. And, I know that you have a history of a lot of knee issues, as do I. We talked about that a number of times. What advice would you share with anyone who experiences knee issues, but they want to push to get to be able to do something like a marathon? What advice would you share about how you got through this training period?
Okay, so definitely it was listen to your body. The night before the marathon, Mel asked me, what is your pace? What are your anticipated time to end? I looked at him and I go, I don't know. My knee is my pacer. So that's what I did. Throughout the training, I listened to my body. When I would push myself and I would, run with the faster runners, I was able to complete the training. But then the next day I was in, some pain, some swelling. And then I had to learn, you know what? You have to stay at your pace. So I stayed at my pace. I listened to my body. I would not wait until I was in pain to walk. I would do that interval walking. And even the exercises that you, Dr. Sean, you had given to me, I would practice that, do those exercises, get my knee, to like a better position. And I must say, you had taped my knees and you told me, yes, you should wear the compression sleeve. And I had not one knee pain during that marathon. I had other pains, but not one knee pain.
That's amazing. That's amazing. And you know what? I appreciate you trusting me. A lot of people, it's hard to trust when you don't know what's going on. You don't know how things are going to feel. And especially when things are coming on, like a marathon is happening in a week, and you're like, how am I going to get through this? But to trust something new like that, I appreciate you trusting me. And I'm glad it paid off because it was just a joy for me to see you cross the finish line, knowing all that we had done in terms of getting your knees right. And it's just amazing to see that, like you said, when you do those things and you prepare, anything is possible. Anything is possible. So now that this is all done, right? You got the swag and you're doing your thing now. What's next for you for 2022?
Okay. So I've told a couple of people 2021 was my running year. At the end of this year, I would have maybe over 35 medals because I've been doing, different runs. But I haven't caught the bug per se. So for next year, I do want to run because I do love the benefits now of running that I do like, but I do want to try new things. I'm not sure what that new thing would be, but definitely like Ish had mentioned, that Lola challenge is something I would like to do, just different types of new things that I want to conquer.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, I look forward to seeing whatever you decide to do. And we're going to be here with the running club to continue to inspire you and push you forward. So Sharon Jagger, thank you so much for being on the show. I appreciate you. And I hope to see your sons, if you're listening, also out here at some point in time too.
Yes,
So
see what we can do. Thanks a lot.
Right. That's right. No problem. So folks, we're going to keep moving with our show. And I have some special guests who are in the same building as me right now. And I'm glad that they're here. My boo is here. My boo is here. And there's someone else that you want to bring on whenever she's ready. Come on over. She's working on. Oh, she's doing some work right now. So listen, Pie Cakes, it's awesome to have you close to me. Right, rock that metal. As I said before, you're a 3-time marathoner now, and it's amazing to see you run. We've had many conversations about running over the last couple of years, but to see you run and now finish your 3rd marathon, I mean, how's it feel?
It feels a little surreal because I cannot believe that I actually finished the last marathon, the one that was like 7 days ago. Because I really do believe that God did that, because I like, there are these moments in my life when it's very clear that God was in control, because I don't remember a lot of the details. They're just little moments where I remember talking to God, but there are a lot of details I don't remember. And that's what this marathon feels like to me. So I really know that God was like moving my feet, moving my mind, moving me along. I don't feel that good health-wise because I have bronchitis. So you're going to hear me cough a bunch during this. And that's probably because it's been a really hectic, crazy beginning of the new school year, and I didn't, train properly, and my body is just shutting down. But I'm very grateful that I'm able to move, walk, and I got this medal.
Yeah, and I appreciate that. And listen, I know that for you, it hasn't always been the easiest thing to run. I know even in terms of scheduling, right? There are many times where I go out early morning runs and you stay home, we switch vice versa. But training has always been that thing where you've numerous times have said, I didn't train for this one. I didn't train for that one. What's different this time for you moving forward for future marathons? I know you mentioned that you sometimes want to get back into training for these things. So is it something that you're looking forward to doing for the future? Is it something that you think you're just not going to get into it all? What are your thoughts?
Well, I say a lot that I don't train, and I just want to be clear on what that actually means.
Come on over.
Oh, you want to get close?
Okay.
When I say I don't train, what I mean is that I don't train consistently. I don't, I sort of just show up. And part of when I show up is when I feel like, man, everybody else is showing up, so I should go. Or when I get really, really nervous and scared and I'm like, okay, I should probably go and try something. This last year, I think for this marathon, I ran 8 times according to Strava between August and Marathon Sunday. So, these last couple of days, I've been sort of going through this period of regret because, this was the 50th anniversary of the New York City Marathon. It's such a big deal. Everybody was so hype. I've been listening to everyone on the show talk about how exciting it was and how moved they were. And I felt all those things, I think, because like I said before, there's a lot of it that I don't remember, but I feel like it was sort of like a wasted, squandered opportunity for me, which I don't love. And so I guess the answer to your question about where I'm how I'm feeling now about training is that I do feel like God has given me these opportunities to do incredible things that so many people don't do. I mean, it's what, 1% of something of the world. And so I just feel like I should take advantage of that and like not waste the opportunity. Now, having said that, right, I sort of feel this way the days following the marathon each time. And so hopefully I will actually like take this momentum and move forward with it. I don't know. This year was very different for me because typically I'm really competitive, and I sort of like have this feeling of like, well, if everyone else is doing it, then I'm doing it and I have to do it better. And that doesn't pan out. Like, listen, there are people, you, Vanessa, White, future body, who I will never amount to and never be better than and never like reach that level, or, you know, just like literally take a life transformation. But I do feel like there was this real competitive piece for me that did not exist this year. And so I'm hopeful that that will push me, because then it's less about like wanting to like not let someone pass me and more just about like my own journey. I did take that part very seriously, Sean, which was like that you kept saying to us, run your own race, run your own race, run your own race, run your own race. So yeah.
Yeah, I appreciate you sharing that, and that's very honest. And you know, I think that, I guess my question for you now is, you know, I think about your family structure, and you and I have talked about this in the past about how athletics and sports were not really strongly encouraged when you were growing up. Academics were, which is fantastic, right? But now that you recognize that there is a athlete that's in you, it's in a warrior that's inside of you, that you've shown for various Spartan races and now for 3 marathons, you know, what do you do with that? How do you translate that into your regular routine now? And what's it feel like knowing that you're a runner? Like, it's an innate part of you that you just come out, whether you train a little bit or a lot of it, you go out and you can run these mileages with the best of people. Like, what do you do with that, and how do you transition that into your future for 2022?
So yeah, growing up, athletics was not part of our sort of like world, because I think for my dad, and this is probably true for a lot of families of immigrants, is that like he didn't get here to America because of anything other than academia. And so yes, you can come, Snow. She wants to be a part. You know, we didn't get a chance to, I mean, we did like extracurricular things like soccer and things like that everybody else did, but none of us were part of anything really that great. My sister was on track, and then, you know, school got in the way. My other sister was in soccer, and then school got in the way. And so, you know, I never really saw the benefits of like athleticism or just like being a part of a team. But like since being with you and seeing how disciplined you are, and how like how much that influences who you are today. And I always say, like, you never stop, you never move. You're the most like you literally never pause. And I think a lot of that has to do with your innate abilities as from being a runner. And so I'm being long-winded, but I guess what I'm trying to say is not having that and then sort of like having it in your life all the time because your partner is very much into this world has had a really big benefit for me in terms of seeing my potential. I also see the health benefits. I remember listening to Juanita, coached by Cabello, who was just telling me about, like, a while ago, we went on like a random run and we like ran into Coney Island, and there was like a place where there were French fries, and that's all I really wanted. And she was just talking to me about, you know, like my health and like my body and like making better choices. And we talked a lot about sugar and my obsession. And, you know, as somebody who grew up in this space where like thinking about longevity in life was just not something, thinking about my health was just not a focus for me. This experience has really like shaped me and changed me and moved me to like think more about that. And then seeing how active Sonali is and how, don't get it twisted, y'all see these medals up here. She has one in her room too, right, with medals on it. So, you know, just seeing that and seeing the benefit of that and like all the things that she's getting from that, it's changed me. It's really made me think a lot. Now, like, am I going to move that into practice? I hope, I pray. I'm asking all y'all to pray for me. But yeah, I see the benefit, and I'm trying to get rid of that sort of like there's only one path to success, which is something that I think as a child of an immigrant was really instilled in me, because it felt like for immigrants there was really only one path. For my parents especially, there was really only one path. And so I don't know, that's a really long-winded way of me saying I feel like sports and athleticism is something that is really great, and I do think that I have this sort of innate ability to run, which I'll never fully admit and hopefully will take better advantage of, but we'll see.
Yeah, absolutely. I know for many of your races, you run with a little picture of somebody.
Yeah.
On your little pouch. What's the significance of that, and why is Sonali with you for every single race?
Well, first of all, look at this little face, and second, you know, I always think about, for me, the hardest part is the mental, right? And so I'm constantly like, this is too hard. You need to stop. Your body can't take this. You need to give up. 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 And one place in particular that's really hard for me is towards the end. I want to give, like, when I say towards the end, I don't mean like 200 meters out. I mean like 2 miles from the end, right? Like you've gone 24 miles in your body. It's just like, no, I'm done. And I carry Sonali's picture on me. I tape it to the front of me and I tape it to the back of me, because I feel like if I'm looking at her, everyone else should be looking at her too, because she's so cute. Because I feel like, how can I look at her and tell her not to give up in her math assignments, in her writing, in her reading, in cleaning her room, and all the things, if I'm going to give up, right? And I feel like we have this little agreement, she and I, where when I get tired, what do you tell me to do? Look at your picture, right? And that you'll give me energy to keep moving. And I really believe in that. And I really believe, like, that's really motivated me, because whenever I want to give up, I just think like, well, what message am I sending to her? If she were to see me in this moment giving up, what would she think? So
yeah. Sonali, you had a chance to actually watch Mommy when she was running the marathon this year, right?
Mm-hmm.
What were your thoughts when you saw Mommy run by you?
My thoughts were that she is not giving up.
She wasn't giving up, right? And that's a great thing to see, Mama not give up, right?
Mm-hmm.
Did you make this for us as well? What is this?
It's a beautiful picture that she made for all of us for running the marathon. Isn't this
fantastic.
nice?
It's very nice.
And another one upstairs.
Yes, there's
and
another
one upstairs. Yeah, we came home to a great picture that Sonali made for all the marathon runners who ran that day. Yes, you have Sasha. One more question for you before we let you guys go. There's a certain phrase that I wasn't privy to before the marathon, but had the blessing and the luxury of learning from you in particular. That I know was shared with the
Holy Spirit activate.
Yeah, that's
Holy
it.
Spirit activate. Holy Spirit activate.
Mm-hmm.
Activate. Is that the one you're talking about?
That's what I was talking about. Yeah, I was curious how that phrase helped you and others get through the marathon for 2021.
Well, okay, so backstory, not my phrase, obviously. It's from the Steve Harvey, Family Feud, and there was a contestant on, I think from like Wilson Phillips, that group from the 90s, 80s. And before she was doing like the final round, she just told Steve to wait and was like, Holy Spirit, activate. And, you know, it's funny, but it's actually like really an incredible sort of statement. And I don't know, I just started saying it the morning of when we were waiting at the train station, and then I just like legit would not stop, to the point where I'm pretty sure other people were like, Holy Spirit activate, and shut her up. But I just kept saying it, and you know, I was saying it like in a jokey way, but really I was saying it like honestly in a real way, because you know, this race is, for me, it is really mental, and it's really one of those things where, and it's a huge toll on your body, and it's really one of those things where you feel like if I'm left to my own devices, I'm not doing it. I'm giving up at mile 3 when my knee hurts and my foot hurts and everything hurts, and I can't believe this is happening, and there's still so many miles left to go. And so I kept saying it throughout the marathon. I mean, at one point I asked Pammy to pray for me during the marathon because she is amazing, and I asked a stranger on the street who was telling us about God to pray for me. And throughout the marathon, especially the last 4 miles, I was saying, Holy Spirit, activate, Holy Spirit, activate, Holy Spirit, activate, because I really needed the Holy Spirit to carry me through. And typically I call Lunice the Holy Spirit, but I knew she wasn't going to carry me through the marathon. So I needed the real Holy Spirit to carry me through this race. And so to me, I'm going to use that for everything, because I'm not probably going to say it in the like corny way that I was saying it, although I probably will, honestly. But I do think like when the Holy Spirit activates, there's like really nothing that we can't do, right? And so, and this is like a true test. I mean, I ran 8 times. The longest I ran was 20 miles with the group, and that's because, Sean, you were like, if you don't go out and run, you're probably not going to finish this marathon. And I was like, what are you talking about? I'm going to finish this marathon. Oh my God, I'm probably not going to finish this marathon. I should go to the 20-mile run. And so, I feel like it was really God. And I've taken up a lot of time. I'm sorry.
No, you're great. You're great. I appreciate all you shared today, and I'm glad that you got through it. And I'm excited to see what's in store for 2020. We are doing the Fred Lebo. 2022. I know you put it out there first. We're doing Fred Lebo in January 23rd. So Central Park, 2 laps. If you want to join us for that, hop on board. But yeah, that's going to be our first race for next year. So I'm going to follow your lead.
And I'm really going to try to train people.
Awesome. Awesome. Thank you guys so much for coming down. Appreciate you guys. All right.
Thank you so much for having us.
No problem. And
peace out, everyone.
Peace. There you go. We're going to go on to our next guest. There's so many more we have to just get through. And it's been, again, everyone has a story. Everyone has a journey. And everyone has their own way of getting this thing done. And hey, again, whether you come first or last, you put the training in, you're a champ. You're a champ. And that's what we're always talking about on the show, to make sure you put what you have to do to get things done. Our next runner is no stranger to the show. In various ways, they have been a part of Be More Today, giving back and being a part. He's actually a great friend of mine. We connect on various levels pretty much every single day. And it's been a real great honor, actually, just connecting with very few on the team. I mean, all of our runners are fantastic, right? As you've seen and had the chance to meet them face to face. It's one thing when you see someone's name, but having a chance to actually know their story is totally different. And I think that's the beauty of these podcasts and these shows, and even social media. You have a chance to really see the inner workings of what goes behind the scenes in certain people's lives. And it gives you a great appreciation of what's really happening, not just during the race, but, during the week. So I appreciate all you guys being on the show, and anyone who's listening and out there who's like, oh, I am inspired to do this now. Go on our Facebook page, look up Spartan Sunday Running Club, look up Be More Today, get on there and join the party. We have a lot of things happening all the time for you guys to join us with, activities from weekly workouts to our races that we do every single year. So do not be a stranger. And there he is, folks, my guy, the man with the master plan, to add, to come to the scene. You guys know him as Eugene Byers Jr. I know him as Rise to Grind. Rise to Grind. What is going on?
What's going on, man? What's going on?
It's another day we talking, man. That's how it is. That's how it be. So listen, welcome to the 1% Club, man. I know you prove it to yourself that you can do it. And I know that you've been asked about this in the past, and you were like, nah, that's y'all. But now we can say it's us. So right. What held you back before that you recognize is no longer there now when it comes to this marathon thing?
I mean, running running. Like, yeah, I was like, no, that I was like, yeah, that was y'all. Like that, no thanks. No thanks. And then something happened. It was funny. I think I was praying with someone one Sabbath morning. And then after that, someone asked me a question, Dr. Sean, and hey, if you got the opportunity, would you? I was like, yeah, I guess so. Then got a call back with you and Ish. It's like, yo, here's your opportunity. I was like, wow, I stepped in it. And it was a challenge, man. It was a challenge. It's like, okay, I'm not a runner. But okay, this is a big deal. And so let's go for it. And let's see what's up. And it's beautiful. It's beautiful, man.
Yeah. Yeah, and you did it. You did it with flying colors. You did it your way. And weight training is very different from endurance running, as you know, right? And we've had you on the show doing workouts for us, Spartan Sundays, and other things as well. How did you balance the two together during your training? You mentioned you did weight training, strength training, and running together, which is basically the best way to do it.
Mm-hmm.
So, as I can call you novice, I guess, or as a formerly novice runner, because now you're a runner, you're a marathoner.
Right.
How did that transition go for you in terms of integrating the running into your training program?
It was tough. It was a lot of discipline. It was a lot of trial and error, honestly, because my body a lot of mornings were like, nah, bro, or at night, like, no, like I put my body through a lot. To sometimes you do a run and then come back and work out, like for real. So I'm still getting used to it, but I wasn't going to stop. I was like, okay, we have to do this. We have to make sure that you complete, that you are complete. And I didn't want to lose anything because I'm running and just focusing on running. But I believe, just like you said, you need both in order to be in that tip-top shape, to be able to make it through. And it was mental. And guess what? I needed that for that race. The training, everything, 20 miles, and then coming up the week and talking about, okay, now we have to go and work out. That's mental, because there were some mornings where I had some big conversations with myself. 15, 20 minutes, like, nope, we're not going to do this. Yeah, we have to do this. Just a back and forth. And it was really setting that schedule and pushing through the pain, because there's a lot of pain.
Yeah, absolutely. A lot of people talk about, oh, I can't run. I don't want to lose my muscle mass. I don't want to lose this. I don't want to lose that. But I mean, unless you're one of these big guys who's running sub 3 marathons, you're running 40 miles a week.
Mm-hmm.
You're not losing that much muscle mass. You know what I'm saying? So all the people who are out there saying, "Oh, I can't run because I don't want to lose." I get all of that, but it takes a lot. I mean, even like you've seen, because now you do both. It takes a lot to really lose the muscle mass. As long as you're continuing to put on the muscle mass with the weight training and the strength training, and you're doing running on the side, you're not going to lose as much as you think. What you will actually do is tone up.
Right.
And so you probably notice in your training that there's a different kind of tone that you have now, because everything is tight, right? You're probably one of the best shapes you've been in a long time, because now you've integrated the endurance training runs with your strength training runs. It's like a whole new level of training. And correct me if I'm wrong.
No, absolutely right. And I mean, the one thing I'd say is that you just like you guys preach to us with our running and pacing yourself and putting in the work, and everything that you've worked on from that time. We do the same thing the day of the race. It's really putting that schedule together. If you're trying to do both, or if you're adding it, it's just really understanding your body, knowing some days you got to take a break, but it's definitely worth it. And you don't have to do, whereas before running, you may have been doing a whole lot of weightlifting, however you do it, but you scale back, you make adjustments, and you move forward. And it's beautiful right now. It really is. And I'm looking forward to keeping it going.
Awesome. Listen, what was the most memorable moment for you crossing the line for NYC from start to finish? What was the most memorable moment you had for this marathon?
Most memorable moment is seeing my family on First Ave. Like, that just took the cake. They weren't supposed to be there. So I wasn't expecting them to be there. It was just people asking me, hey, where's S going to be? You know, she going to be in? Nah, she won't be there. And it was just the kid's going to, no, she's not. And I was in my mind, they will not be there. I will see them when I get home. I'm good. I was good. Man, I was running with my head down, talking to myself like, all right, let's keep going. And I heard my niece calling my name, but I was like, why am I hearing that right now? And when I look up, she's jumping. I see Amber and Austin jumping. See S in the back, and they videoing me. And I see S coworker there, like they all. And I was just like, that almost took me out. I had to recruit quickly after that, because I was just, God knows what you need. Like, he knows what you need, and he dropped that on me, and that was everything for me right there, man. Everything.
Yeah, that's a big time moment. I remember seeing my family cheer for me for the first time, and it hits you different. You know, you cheer for somebody is one thing, but you being cheered for, recognizing that someone's been tracking you your entire journey.
Right.
And you know, you see so many faces in New York that are strange faces for the most part. You know, they're calling your name because it's on your shirt.
Right.
When you see someone whose face you recognize, it's like you see them for the first time in years. You may have seen them even yesterday, but because you haven't seen them for miles, right? It just hits you differently, and it gives you an extra boost that some people tear up, some people, you know, have a hard time dealing with it because it's so emotional, that connection, even for that brief second.
Yeah.
But it's something that really can boost you and propel you, like you said, for the next 3, 4, 5 miles. So
absolutely.
I'm glad you experienced that. And I know that you, my friend, are one of the many who, as you said in the show, now has the bug. So now that you have this sickness, right, this fever that can continue to seep into next year, what's next for you for 2022?
2022. Number one, Spartan races, trifecta. That's already on the calendar. That's set. Perfecting my running form. That's one of the things that I know. Like, we've spoken in early training, I had some issues, and then you talked to me about looking at how I'm stepping, my form and whatnot. And when I tweaked that a little bit, that definitely helped me out. So I want to get better there. And I hope we get to Chicago. I'm looking forward to Chicago. Can I run the marathon in New York City again next year? I'm down in all the, now let me not say all the races, but I'm looking forward to many of the different races around New York, and even outside of New York and the country as well. So I'm looking to really become a better runner overall, and I guess a hybrid athlete. I guess that's the goal, to be able to do both. And so that's the goal for 22 and beyond. I'm definitely looking forward to it. So yeah.
Well, I appreciate that, Rise to Grind. And I don't know about Spartans, man. Listen, you and I have done Killington together. We got through that madness. I said once I hit 20, that would be it. But
right.
You know, I as you know, you and I have spoken about this marathon, and for me, you know, this is a marathon that I trained for. I felt great during. I didn't hit the time that I wanted. I didn't go out like I wanted to go out, you know, and I'd be remiss to see so many people conquering their goals and conquering their issues and saying they want to go on, and me being like, I'm done here, because I know, like you said, even for you, there's more. There's more that you want to do. There's more that you can do. So I can't say no when you say Spartan races. So you may see me with you somewhere.
Okay.
I don't know where, but
Okay.
you may see me with you at one of those races for sure. So
no doubt.
to happen.
All right.
So
let's do it.
I appreciate you, homie. Appreciate all the stuff you're doing. I appreciate our friendship and our camaraderie. Again, this guy and I talk every single morning for about, who knows, 10 minutes to an hour, depending on what's going on, and
Yeah.
each other. So I appreciate the friendship, and excited to hop into 2022 with you by my side. So
Yes, sir.
let's get it.
All right, man.
Let's get it.
Love you,
All right.
Brody.
Love you too, homie.
All right, man.
Again, so many people on the show, folks, so many stories, so many great people who are doing, again, ordinary people doing extraordinary things. And, you know, this next person right now is, I gotta say, of all the people in my life, she is the person who taught me so many things, but she really did. Even from walking and talking and running and sleeping and reading, to being able to do what I do now with my family. She is the queen bee, aka Vanessa McKinney, aka Ness. She's my mom, folks. And Mom, welcome to the Be More Today show again. What is going on?
This is what's going on.
Oh,
Today
boy.
is what's going on. How are you feeling, Sean?
I'm good. I'm good. I see you now. You got the poncho in the back. You're rocking the medal on your neck. You're doing your thing. How's it feel to be now a 2-time marathoner?
It feels amazing. It truly does feel amazing. I had not planned on doing it. I had I had planned on doing it, and then I had some reservations. 2020 really, or 2020, yeah, took us out with the COVID and all the races that we had done the year before when we ran the 2019 marathon really prepped me physically and mentally. And then to come into 2020 and not working out as vigorously as I would have liked, I really pondered a couple of times about 2021 and the marathon. You know that I at several times thought about, I don't know if I really want to do this. I don't know if I can. But now that it's all said and done, I'm glad that it's done, and I'm glad that I followed through with my heart.
Yeah, I mean, let's talk about this. So up until, I even say, early October, right? We went apple picking. So and I know you were considering not running NYC,
Yeah.
but you know, six weeks out. So what happened that changed your mind to commit to doing the marathon for this year?
I have actually thought about giving my ticket away to somebody because I just really didn't think I was physically ready. And it's really hard up here to train, especially when you're out here by yourself on these lonely roads, country roads. But the thought of the 50th year anniversary going past me, I knew I would regret it after the fact. And I had to really just get my mindset right so that I could just endure whatever it is I had to deal with to make it happen. It wasn't that I had not been training. I had been going out, but I had not been going out for long runs and, you know, just going up in my neighborhood. But I think once I came down into the city, you had said to me, well, Ma, just come down and run with the team. And I think that first run I did with the team was 16 miles. And I said, you know what? I probably could do this again. So the next week, I think we did 20 miles. And I had to really question myself. Did we really do 20 miles? Because I didn't feel like we did 20 miles. And I mean, the group as a whole left me. And they made pit stops along the way to the ladies' room. But I just kept chugging along because I knew if I had stopped, that they would leave me for sure. But when it was all said and done, everyone waited at the end. I was the last one to come in. They reminded me, yeah, we just did 20 miles. That was enough to make me realize, okay, so I may not be in the best of shapes, but I could do it. And that's what really changed my mind to just go ahead and push forward.
Yeah, that's our motto. No Spartan left behind. We no matter how fast, how slow people are, you know, we make sure that everybody finishes the race. Same as Spartan race, right? No matter how fast or how slow people are, we make sure everyone gets to the race and gets it done.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, you've been doing a lot of things this year. Although you say you weren't doing as much up there in the Hudson Valley. I mean, we had our Be More Today challenge this past summer, and your team actually came in second. And for a team at that time that did not have all the big numbers of the teams we have down here in terms of Bronx and Brooklyn and what have you, you know, as the captain of your team, you led your team to do very, very well in this challenge.
Actually,
how
we
was
would have
training?
came in first place. You know that. I'm
Listen,
not going to
I
say
know
nothing.
you would
We would have came in first place. I'm not going to say nothing more.
I know. We'll have to see what happens next year. But yeah, how is training upstate different than training with the Spartan Sundays Running Club down here in the city?
It's very isolated because we don't have that kind of team in the Hudson Valley. You often train by yourself. So even though we had several people, I think we had like 16 people on our team, everyone lives so far away from each other. And we do have some commuters who go to work in the city. So our timing is not as convenient as it may be for those in the city. So it's a challenge. But the one thing I will say that makes it not so bad is that you get used to running alone. And running is a isolated sport. It's, you know, you're usually running by yourself. So being up here and running by myself didn't feel it didn't feel as bad when I came to the city to run and I was by myself because I was used to running by myself. But you lose out on the encouragement that you would get by seeing other people on the road running, which is what I received when I came into the city to do those last runs, those last long runs, because you would see people out on the street running. They didn't know you, you didn't know them, but there was a nod or, you know, a hello as you passed them by. So you didn't feel so, okay, I'm doing this by myself, because there was someone else out there doing the same thing by themselves, and you felt okay about it.
Right, absolutely. Listen, the you versus you theme is something that you know, we had a couple of years ago, but it's resonated throughout the seasons for us. And I know it's something that you really take to heart. Why is that so powerful for you?
Well, I'm not a runner, really. I used to watch you guys run as kids and your dad constantly, and I never got into it. But I realized that life has so many different challenges, and we are often trying to compete with somebody else. And it really isn't about competing with anyone else or trying to meet someone else's expectation. That competition is within myself, within you individually. So that you versus you became really powerful for me the first year that you guys threw it out, and I held on to it because I'm 64 years old. I started running at 62. I cannot compete with the whites or you or Pi for that matter. So my efforts, it's not about you guys, it's about me. It's about me meeting certain goals that I've set for myself and just pushing past those goals. I see what everyone else is doing, but I have to do my own race. I have to run my own race. So in that process, it's about me dealing with the challenges that I deal with mentally or emotionally and physically as I, you know, get out there and try to beat my own goals.
Yeah, no, I hear that, and you're right. And I think the you versus you theme is it's powerful for everyone because it relates to everyone for one, and it's a universal theme that can go every single year for two. But like you said, you running your own race and you doing what you have to do is all that we want with Spartan Sundays. It's really our main goal to make sure everyone just does what they have to do to recognize that they want to just be better than they were last night, better than they were last year or last race or last workout, what have you. And as long as you do that, you can always see improvements. And you've embodied that. And now that, you know, you're a two-time marathoner and also now a retiree, right? Congratulations for that as well. Well done. Well done.
Thank you.
What is next on the docket for you moving forward?
Well, I got into this thing, the marathon, November 7th, stating that I'm done. I am really, 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 really done. But now I have to question that. Am I really done? I registered for Chicago, so I'm hoping that they will call me and I'll give it another try. I loved the energy that I saw when I ran, and it was a little different this time than the first time. And I think that was because I was so afraid the first time and I didn't know what to anticipate. And this time, being able to run without having anything in my head, I had no headphones, no music. I was just embracing the different communities and the diversity of the community and the music and the liveliness of each community. That I think that part of my next goal would be to prepare to do the marathon again and to just do better at it. I cut off some time this year compared to 2019. I like to see me cut much more. And I've started a business, so part of my goals for the next year is to push that business a little bit further so that I could truly be more today, and allow myself to explore those things that I've always wanted to do but couldn't do because I was working and commuting. And now that I have the time, I'm going to do me.
Awesome. That's what I'm talking about. Mom, I love you so much. I appreciate you. I'm proud of you. And
I want to say thank you. Thank you to you and to Ish. I want to say thank you to all those supporters. Felicia, because it was a pleasure to see her as I was running through, my husband Earl and my sister Joyce and my coworkers. It was just nice to see those people along the way as we went through the 5 boroughs. But I want to say again, thank you, Ish, for encouraging us when we did those long runs, and Sean just for being there and always pushing us to be more. Thank you so much.
No problem. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. And yeah, we'll see what's up next year. Folks, again, so many stories, so many people doing great things, and we're going to just keep the party going with our next runner who's on the docket now. Again, everyone who's been on this show finished the marathon, and they finished it in their own way. And as you see, there's a bug. There's a bug going around that once you see you can do something, it opens up the door for you to do even more things. And that's what Be More Today is about. It's really trying to show that anything is possible, that you can go up there and hit your goals, that you can write these goals down and they can become reality, right? You can write down what you want to do and make it happen. Trust in the process, being persistent and consistent. It's all those things. And, talk is cheap. You can talk about yourself all you want, but actually seeing people do it, seeing them actually do these things is what we want. And that's what we've been trying to highlight every single week on the Be More Today show. And I wanted to bring to you these 24 or 21 stories of people showcasing that what they wanted to do is getting done. So you can do the same thing, right? The person who doesn't think they can write a book or doesn't think they can go out there and do a marathon, let these people who are on here right now let you know that you are unstoppable. And I have on the show right now 2 friends that I'm so glad are on the show together at the same time because they are both very special to me in different ways. We have Pammy, aka Stop Football, and we got aka Vanessa, who's also here with us. And ladies, what is going on?
I can't hear Sean. I'm not hearing him.
Nothing much. I'm just sitting here waiting to be excited about my medal, but I'm not yet. So maybe it will come.
Oh, listen, it takes a minute to set in. It takes a minute to set in. And Vanessa, you have a story that we're gonna get into a little bit right now. But congrats to both of you on the marathon. I know that it was a struggle. But I'm curious before we talk about that. I know that Vanessa, we met you through Pammy, and it's been such a blessing experience to know you and your son and your family throughout the years, even from Spartan races to now these road races. How did you two meet in the first place?
We met at I guess a hangout spot, which Pam lives. Pam's home was the hangout spot.
All right.
So I think that's how we met, right, Pam? It's so long ago. I'm sorry. I don't even remember. Oh, okay.
It's right.
Okay, good.
All right. That works. That works. We'll leave it right there. We'll leave it right there. No problem.
Yeah.
We'll leave it right there. So Pammy, I know Pammy, number 4 in the books. This is what you do, Pammy. You're a Spartan queen. You're a marathon boss now. How did it feel to run in the greatest city in the world again, coming out of COVID-19?
Again, this time I said I was going to be doing it for fun, to enjoy it. Well, that's how I first started it. I said it was going to be for fun, to enjoy it, and it wouldn't be about time. But later on in the training process, it changed. I said I wanted to PR the times that I had before. I mean, I didn't get to do it, but it's all good. Running this year, the atmosphere was better. Although they messed up my name with the Unstoppable Pam, but just hearing the people saying, "You're unstoppable! You're unstoppable," it did give me a boost, and I quite enjoyed it. Very much so.
Yeah, New York has that city, that vibe that just, it gets you excited and you feel like you're a superstar. Literally, I heard Dr. Sean, oh, doctor's in the house. All right, Dr. Sean, here we go, Doc. I see you, Doc. And it gets you so hyped. Like you feel like you're a superstar. You feel like everyone knows who you are, and they don't, right? But for that moment in time, they're your biggest fan, and it really pushes you to keep pushing. And Pam, you and I, we both share the same experience. We both were registered for Berlin and both did not get a chance to go this year. Are there any plans now in your future to conquer the infamous Abbott 6?
I think so though. I really do think so. I mean, I said this New York City was gonna be my last. If you do it, we spoke on Friday, right?
We did.
If you do it, I'm gonna do it. But the others, I entered the lottery for Chicago. I entered the lottery for London. Of course, I did Berlin again. And yeah, we'll see. We'll see.
I gotta say, Pammy, you're one of the people who inspires me and has inspired me from the beginning, from Spartans to road races. And not many people can get me to come out and do something I said I wasn't gonna do. But when Pam goes out there and runs 20 miles, I'm like, you know what? I gotta run 20 miles, and then Pam says that, look, we can't be done yet. We still got stuff to do. Then I gotta also say that we can't be done yet. We got stuff to do. So I appreciate you, Pam, and you've inspired me from the beginning and continue to do so. So let's get it. Let's go.
Yes. Let's do this.
Let's do it. Vanessa, I know that you were our top finisher, so congrats for being our top finisher for the females for our running club this year.
Thank you.
I'm curious. Have you always been a runner?
Short distance, Sean. I did not know I could run long distance. I remember when I got in through the lottery. I did not eat for a whole day. I was so, remember, Pam? I was like, I can't swallow. I feel like something's choking me. I was so scared. I thought I was going to die, like be that person that actually died running the marathon. I remember while we were waiting to start, I was like, God, just give me a little bit of that Ethiopian blood. Like, I just hope I have a little bit of that in me, and just don't let me be that person that died on the marathon. And but long distance scares me. Like if it's a sprint, that's my thing. But long distance,
Yeah.
I didn't know I could do it until I did it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's the same for a lot of people. You know, a lot of us were not distance runners per se, but recognizing when you see yourself doing it, it's like, wow, okay, I can do that.
Yeah.
What else can you do? You know, what else is there out there? And that's why this Avid 6 marathon thing and triathlons are now in the category, and people are just thinking about the bigger pictures now because they've seen that they can do what they thought they could not do. And
Right.
that's really inspiring. It's really inspiring. Vanessa, I know that you had done Spartan races with us and now these road races. But I know this race in particular was very special for you.
Yeah.
I didn't know, do you mind sharing with us, so listeners, why you chose to run NYC this year and why this race was so special for you?
Mm-hmm.
Why I ran it? Because for one, I feel like I couldn't let COVID take everything from me.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't want to run it this year, especially because I got COVID earlier in the year and like my body just wasn't the same. I remember when we did the half marathon in Central Park where my sons run with me. I remember I finished in 3:21. I went home and I cried. I was like, oh my God, I can't do the marathon. If, like I am not able to run it, I feel like what's the point? Well, for me, it's like, no, I can't do that. And oh my God, I don't want to cry. Yeah, so that was happening to me. And my sister died with it. And I just knew that I had to do it for her. I had to finish strong.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, yeah, I don't want to do it, but I have to do it for her. Because to me, at that point, I was like, nothing matters to me. Because the one thing I wanted the most, I don't have it. And nothing mattered. I was like, I don't care, but then I thought about it and I was like, COVID first, you took away, like I had to work so hard to kind of, get my body back a little.
Mm-hmm.
And now, my sister is gone. I just can't let you win. I have to do it.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, as emotional as that sounds, it's true. You ran not just for you, but for her as well. And you
Yeah.
finished the race with flying colors, in her honor. So,
Yeah.
the backstory, why you were running, it made it even more special for us. But for those who didn't know, they need to know that, your running for her was bigger than just a medal, just a race.
Yeah. Yeah.
Cathartic for one, clearly, but also just to give honor and homage to her legacy and
Yes. Yeah.
respect on her name, to say that, although she's not here with us, her legacy will still live on and we will still continue to fight, whether it's for 26 miles of a fight or
Yeah.
our lives for a fight.
I felt her, Sean, running with me, because I did feel like I was so at peace, which was really surprising because I was like, oh my God, how am I going to do this? And some parts of it were very emotional, because people kept, shouting, do it for Ellie, do it for Ellie. And I broke down and I was like, oh my God, like she's not here. And then I started to regret a little putting her on my shirt, but I like that feeling would just come over me again. And then I would just like look up and see, oh my God, I'm at mile 20. I don't even know how I got here.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's amazing. That's amazing. Well, I'm glad you put her name on your shirt because now the world knows.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, and I think that that's been the beauty of this running club, that we all come together with our various stories and continue just to inspire and lift up each other. You know, we're
Right.
not perfect. We all have our differences. We all have our issues. We all have our walks and whatever else. Or even our abilities are different, but we all have a common goal to get stuff done, to take care of our
Yes.
bodies, to go out there and conquer
Mm-hmm.
races, and
Gotcha.
we support each other. So when one of us hurts, you know, we all hurt. One of us celebrates, we all celebrate, and
Yeah.
celebrate her life with you. So just know that. Just know that. And
Mhm.
you know, my last question for you guys is I know Spartan Sundays has reached you or helped you guys to reach higher heights in terms of your training and to again just to meet the various people, but you know, what now, right? When you do these things, you do these races and you have this adrenaline high because you've been to New York and it's like fantastic, but you know, what's next on the docket for each of you in terms of next year or moving forward, or you know, even for you, Vanessa, talking about running and your sister's legacy, like what's next for you in terms of your fitness journey for 2022?
Right. For now, to be honest, like I'm not really thinking about anything right now. Um, because I don't know, I just don't want to. Like, I'm like, I don't want to make plans. She's not here. Like, I
Mhm.
feel like I just don't want to. Like, I don't want to be doing fun stuff. I don't want to be making plans. She's not here.
Yeah.
But I know at some point I'll be ready. And when I'm ready, I do want to, like, my next thing that I want to do when I'm ready is a triathlon. I've been bringing it up, but like nobody wants to join me. Nobody wants to join me, but that's my thing that I really want to do next when I'm able.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we're gonna. It's don't be remiss. It's in the queue. It is in the queue. We just have to work on our swimming a little bit, but I think that you have a couple people who are interested. And our next guest on the show in a minute is going to be interested as well. So you may have some partners for that sooner than you think.
Sweet.
So, Abby, how about for you?
For me. So I'm a medal girl, right? I need to round up my numbers. So I have 47 road race medals. I need to round that up to to 50. But in total, I have 68 medals. So it means I need 38 more medals, right? So next year needs to bring in at least half of that, and the following year, and the other half. So, and also I want to work on my pace. I know I can run faster. I'm too comfortable in that 12:30. I've done faster before and I know I can do it. So for next year, that's my goal, to get my 100 medals and to work on a faster pace.
Wow. Folks, you heard it here on the Be More Today show first. 100 medals going down. Triathlon is going down. Ladies, thank you so much for being on the show today. I appreciate you. And Pammy and Vanessa, just know that you both are loved so much.
Thank you.
Love you too, boo.
Yes, ma'am.
Bye.
Folks, so many stories, and a lot of things are going out there in terms of dedications. Our next guest is another person who did 2 marathons this year, Berlin and NYC. Erica Payo is in the house. Erica, what is going on?
Hi, how are you? It's actually 3 marathons for this year.
Oh, excuse me. She's done 3 marathons, folks. Let me be corrected. Congrats, my dear. How's it feel?
It feels great. It feels great, especially tasting international running. Really motivated me a bit more than I was before. So it feels great. It feels great. My last didn't feel so great. NYC, for some reason, I was excited. I did get hyped with the cheering, with the people. Brooklyn definitely came out and came out hard. And I really loved the race itself, but I somewhat felt disappointed because of my time. But at the same time, I'm so impressed because from mile 14 to mile 226.2, I was in pain the whole time. And this is the first time ever running from the beginning of my running journey to now that I've ever had to fight so hard mentally to finish something.
Yeah.
And I'm grateful. At a
Yeah.
point, I was just calling, I was just Jesus, 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 Jesus. It
Yeah.
was really, I was in so much pain that I just couldn't think that I was going to finish.
Yeah, I mean, I can resonate with that. I also had that experience. I did everything pretty much right, training wise, nutrition wise, everything until I took something I wasn't supposed to take, and it's my fault why it happened. But yeah, that feeling of not knowing, not even knowing if you're gonna finish, but trying to battle just to finish because you're going through pain or discomfort or agony or whatever else. It's a mental challenge that you don't really expect to happen, especially when you've done everything you had to do. I mean, you did Berlin, you did all the stuff you had to do to prepare for this thing, and then something like that goes down where you can't shake it, and you're trying to shake it for miles on end, but recognizing that there are 14 more miles or 10 more miles or 6 more miles to go. Will I get through this thing? And that mind frame that continues to say, yes, you can, is all you really have to rely on. Of course, with your faith and whatever else that you believe in. It's those things that make the difference for people to say that they've gotten one of these or haven't. And I'm proud that you powered through it. I'm proud that you got through it. And I get the feeling too. It's great to have the levels of medals and whatnot, but there's always a bigger feeling of, well, what would have happened if, would I have gotten the time I wanted? Would I have whatever else? So just know that you're not alone in that regard. And it just, I guess, lets me know that for you, the Avid 6 is definitely on the docket, if I'm not mistaken. Correct?
Definitely.
Yeah, you're
Definitely.
going for this thing. You're going for
I'm
this thing.
for it. I'm going for it.
Yeah.
I entered the lottery for London and Chicago this year. And I don't want to put it out there yet, but I really, when I started running consistently, especially after COVID, nearly took over my lungs. But thank God, I was healed fast enough to continue doing the things that I wanted to do in the year 2020. My fastest mile was 7 minutes and 40-ish seconds. And I was not in pain, and I was comfortable, which tells me that running 11, 12-minute miles is not where I should be running. And so really, truly, I think I can really push myself and complete the about 6, and somewhere hopefully I'm really trying to train for it and plan for it. If I don't make it, then I don't make it. Maybe one, at least in my running journey, one Boston Marathon qualifying time.
Yeah, sure. That'd be great. So talk to us about I know you mentioned this challenge that got you inspired and into running called the Work on Your Craft for 100 Days Challenge. What was that exactly?
So Ebony, I don't even remember if that was the actual title of the challenge, but Ebony Giselle Marks threw a challenge. It was her and her friends and some, I think her sister, started this challenge on Instagram where you would work on your craft, whatever that you you choose it to be for 100 days. And a lot of people were exercising, and since I wasn't as consistent as I wanted to be at the gym anyway, and earlier doing, I think 2018 or sometime during 2019, I had a physical and the doctor heard a murmur. I did an echo and it turned out to be it wasn't anything of concern, but I know on my mother's side of the family, cardiovascular issues, they just run the show. So I thought I would start my running journey with that to better my cardiovascular health. And I also wanted to prove myself that I could be consistent at something, because believe it or not, I start a lot of things and I don't finish them. I start reading books and I don't finish them. I start doing things and I don't finish. And I wanted to prove to myself that I could be consistent at something. And from there, my journey started. But what really kept me running was you guys, seeing you guys run. When I saw people like Sister Phyllis, people like Pam, people like way older than I am. And God has blessed me with health and youth, and I'm just sitting on the couch. Like it just doesn't make any sense. But I never in a zillion years would ever think. I used to see you guys come in front of the church for prayer, the marathon weekend. And I was like, y'all crazy. This is this is never me. And I always had a perfect excuse. Do you remember when you or Ish would tell me, we have a spot for there's a race on Sunday. Oh my bad, I have Pathfinders, or I have to work tomorrow. I always have an excuse not to run. But really it's having the community there present at the church and seeing you guys run, and you guys weren't strangers to me. And so I decided, you know what, maybe I'll do this thing. I continue running. But running a marathon was never the goal. Even in 2020, it wasn't a goal. Half of America where I was planning on stopping.
Well, now you're talking about doing the Avid 6. So, I mean, that's clearly a big jump and a testament to show that, once you put that work into something, it does pay off. And yeah, you've been doing it now, which is great. And I'm glad that the Spartan Sunday Running Club has gotten you to at least be inspired to go out there and hit these higher heights. What pushed you this year? I mean, you did 2 marathons, 3 marathons. You did Berlin, you did NYC, and then this third one you did as well. What's kind of gave you the consistent motivation to get through these 3 marathons in this year alone?
Truth is, I've been watching Instagram Reels lately, much more than usual, and there is one of them with a background where a man is talking about motivation, and when people ask him what keeps him motivated, and then he goes through this whole speech about how he's usually not so motivated, and that is my story. Believe it or not, half of the time, 3/4 of the time, I do not want to run. Okay, I just don't. I don't want to run. I don't want my diet to fit my running lifestyle, because running, believe it or not, especially when you to be a long distance runner, it's one thing to run across Prospect Park 3 times a week with no specific goals. But when you are a long distance runner and you try to marathons happens, half marathon happens, it demands consistency, and it affects every part of your lifestyle, right? Your mental has to be on point, your diet has to be on point, your sleep hygiene has to come together, because when I don't have those 3 together, I cannot run. And I remember after starting the 40-day challenge with your book, and also doing grit with you guys, I had nearly 3 months where I just wasn't really running. Thank God, what really kept me, I started CrossFitting at CrossFit Coney Island in Brooklyn. That's what kept me out of off the couch. But really, truly, I remember the first time after those 3 months, I got out there to start running. The second grit, I think it was summer grit, and I only did 4 miles that day. Not only the weather was really crappy, but it took me 5 blocks from my house to actively start jogging. I was just mentally just could not start running, and I was just walking. First block, you can start. I think you can start fast walking by now, Erica. I think you should just do it. Second block, I have to talk myself into walking faster. Third block, it gets really hard for me to actually start running and keep running. But I'm excited. I'm excited for what's coming.
You should be. You should be. And what's one tidbit of advice that you want to share with listeners for people who are trying to follow your footsteps for these marathons? I know a number of young people who are like, yeah, I'm not doing that, right? They are like, yeah, I can't do that. And it's interesting because the age dynamic is very different. You have people who are in their elder years who are like, yeah, I'm too old for that, not going to do it. But then some of them do. And then you have people who are, in their 20s who are also like, yeah, I'm not doing that. I'm not in shape for that. But then some of them do. So, what would you say to anyone who's in your age demographic who is on the fence about getting involved, like a running club or something like this, because they're fearful, but because you've been through that, you've seen people who are doing this race who are in their 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s. You've seen people who are on crutches doing this thing with one leg or on wheelchairs and walkers. So for anyone in that demographic who is able-limbed, right, and is not doing it for whatever reason, what advice would you give to them to say, you know what, it's go time?
I would say commit, because really, what made me a runner was committing to running. There's nothing to it but to do it, really, truly. And I keep telling people, if I can become a runner, anybody could, because people just think I'm being humble, but I'm not being humble. I'm serious. If I can become a runner and stay and keep running, anybody could, because I wasn't so conditioned when I entered running. I wasn't, the perfect either. I'm still not the perfect anything. And I want to say also, what do you have to lose? You have youth on your side, especially those of you listening who are, still in your 20s and in your 30s. Get to it. It's really a commitment. Once you commit mentally, I will do it, and everything else will fall in line. Your sleep, your eating, you will find the time. It only takes so much, 1 mile, and start small. You don't have to running a marathon, running even a 5K. Start small. I started running 1 mile, and I was young. I was 23, and 1 mile. I was praying, God, when will I see the sign that says Utica Avenue? Okay, 1 mile took me 14 minutes, and I was out of breath, out of everything in my body. I was just like, when is this gonna be over? And look at me now. I run 3 marathons in a whole year. What people, I really did choose violence, and I encourage you to do the same.
Awesome. Erica Parker, thank you so much for joining us on this show. I appreciate you. And yeah, let's get the Avid 6 journey. Let's get it going. Folks, we're almost at the end of our show. We have a couple more guests I have to have on, and they are heavy hitters for me. It's my boy Jamrock, aka Arthur Powell Jr., aka Kingston Red, aka Jamaican's Finest. So many names. He does so many things. Arthur, what is going on?
What's going on, SSRC fam? SSRC massive. Oh, it's great to be here. We did it again. We did it again, baby.
Yes, sir.
We conquered another 26. Conquered the concrete jungle once again. And I mean, it felt great. It was an amazing feeling. Getting out there again. Like it's so many emotions, like running high, like at that, when you're at the base of Verrazano, it's like so many emotions running high. I mean, from 2017 when we started, I mean, it's like, it's a feeling like no other. I know we always say, oh, we're gonna retire the jersey this year. And I mean, the entire fam is like, they're amped up. So I don't know. I don't know. It's, the theme is always like, is be more. So, I mean, we can't stop and we won't stop, That's kind of where we are right now,
Yeah, you're right, man. It's crazy because I had the same thought. My thought was, yo, let me run my 3:45 and call it a wrap. And, I didn't get that, but I think if I had gotten it, I'm not gonna lie to you, if I had gotten it, I think I would have just been like, I'm done. But I think, God was probably just like, yeah, no, you can't stop. I mean, this whole thing is be more today. So you can't be more if you stop, so you gotta keep going. So it is what it is, Jam. It is what it is. And a lot of people have, I mean, you've been on the show before, which I appreciate for this season. And a lot of people have said that seeing you and I run, right? Seeing us run, seeing you run and me run 17 was the beginning of their journey. And you crushed it this year. Number 5 for you in the books. You've done Chicago, you did New York, you crushed it this year. How's it feel to be running your best time ever at this great stage in your life?
I mean, it's definitely incredible. The one thing that you said, I'm listening to everybody's, everybody's piece and everybody's experience. Man, we were killing it during training, throwing up crazy numbers, and you never know how your body is going to react on race day. You can do everything in the book, everything that you're supposed to do, but you never know how your body's going to react. I knew I was ready, I felt stronger. And then once I got out there, like around mile 18, and I'll say mile 13, 14 probably was the toughest for me, because I didn't cramp up, but I felt my calf muscles getting tight for some. I'm like, what's going on? I felt like I was getting tight for some odd reason. So, from like mile 14 until I was stopping at every other water station, just taking swigs, and I was good until the end. But, you just have to push through the pain, whatever it is you're experiencing. Like, I felt like my knees never hurt, and for some odd reason, I was getting these jabs of pain in my knee. I'm like, what's going on? So I'm just like, you just got to change your stride. And we learn how to do all this, I think running, being able to run, it puts you so in tune with your body. It's ridiculous. So it's like you learn how to alter your pace. You may change your stride a little bit, change the way your foot and your heel is striking the pavement, and you just kind of power through it. But all in all, all the training, it did pay off. I got an amazing time that I was happy with. It wasn't the time that I strove for ultimately, but I know that it's already a done deal. Like, we just, at this stage of the game, we're just kind of like maintaining what we've already done,
Yeah, and that's true. I think that's also the reason why, stopping now would be the worst move, because you've already trained your body to come out of COVID-19, out of quarantine, to get past all the issues that we had just getting back into running. And now that we are trained in machines, that we know you can go out there and do this thing, taking a break is nice, like a little break just to kind of rest and recuperate so that you don't get injured for the next season. But to stop with literally being starting all over again, and the amount of time and effort it takes to get to this point, you don't want to lose that. So like you said, you just got to push forward, continue to pivot, continue to do things to maintain what we're doing. And on any given day, whether you're trying to do sub 4 or sub 4:30 or sub, whatever it is, you're going to hit it. Things have to be right, but you are going to do it. And Jamrock, you and I have come together and done so many things. Be More today, and Spartan Sundays, and now the running club. You've been integral in terms of how we develop and make this thing, going from the shirts to our designs to our challenges every single month. All those things have helped us to continue to push forward, and it's inspired others to stay committed to their goals, whether it's the Avid Sixes or the Spartan races or just this NYC Marathon alone. What inspires you to see everyone else succeed?
So, honestly, what inspires me is seeing everyone, having an opportunity, or everyone, overcoming whatever adversity that they may have, just tackling all the adversities, conquering obstacles, seeing them, like, for someone who's saying they can't run, I tell people, like, or if you're trying to do a pull-up, just, if you only do half a pull-up, just do half a pull-up and do that 10 times, If you can't run for 30 seconds, run for 30 seconds 10 times, and then just continue to stack, continue to build. But seeing others, succeed, seeing others succeed, seeing others conquer, there's no other feeling like that. I think I told you this one time, over the course of the summer up until now, we're training. You know, I was out running one day, and I was coming down Eastern Parkway. When I got around, maybe like around Underhill, you know, I ran into these cats. You know, they were, you know, chopping up. They was talking on the corner or whatever. And one of the guys, you know, I was rocking one of the Spartan shirts where I think it was one of the trifecta shirts or something like that. And the guy was like, "Oh, yo, you did that Spartan race?" And he was like, "Oh man." And you know, he was really excited. He was really amped up. And he told me like straight up, was like, "Yo, if I do that race with you," he was asking me to run it with him. He told me point blank, he's like, "Yo, I'll give up drinking and smoking if you run that with me." I took his number and I took his information, and I said, like, I told him I wasn't sure like when we were gonna do the next race, but I told him if we do it, I'll definitely reach out to him. And you know, just going through, you know, situations like that, I mean, it just does something to you, knowing that you can assist someone or help somebody, you know, become healthy or just change their lifestyle. I mean, there's nothing. I mean, I can't be grateful for anything more than that, you know?
Yeah, yeah, it's big time. You know, just seeing, you know, it's so funny how integral just a shirt can change someone's lives, right? Or if seeing something on a shirt, I mean, it's advertisement to some extent, but seeing something like that can get someone to, like you said, stop drinking, stop smoking, stop doing these certain things, change their entire lifestyle because they saw that you did it. And like I said before, a number of people saw us run in 17 as the first time that we ever were people that they were able to cheer for during a race. And again, before that, I watched marathon every single year with my dad, never thinking I was ever going to run it. But then running it with you for the first time in 17, you know, sparked us to get more people the next year and even more the year after that. And now 24 finishers for this thing. It's just been an incredible journey. And I know you mentioned on the show before that you got into running basically going around Prospect, you know, doing the loop of Prospect because you live right there and seeing yourself go to that loop and then recognizing that if I can do one, maybe I can do two, maybe I can do three. And then, you know, that turns into other things. What advice do you want to share with those who don't think that they can do that loop or don't think that they can do that 26.2, recognizing that you've done this 5 times now and recognizing that you've seen others do it from all walks of life, all body sizes, shapes, abilities, ages, etc. What advice do you want to share with anybody who is still on the fence that they can't do this thing?
I mean, it's very simple, like one step at a time, one block at a time. That's it. I mean, you know, going through all these races and, you know, seeing people, you know, with disabilities, you know, we see Achilles out there. We see Achilles out there running. I mean, some of these, you know, guys, they're blind. You know, they're in wheelchairs. I mean, it's a whole plethora of things, you know, people are experiencing, and it's mental, you know, it's definitely mental. I mean, you'd be surprised at what your body can do, you know. I mean, I didn't know, like, going through some of these, I know when we did the grit challenge, like, I had no idea I could run 150 miles in a month, you know. I mean, that blew me away, you know, let alone, like, you know, do a marathon, but do 150 miles in a month, you know. That was kind of like a catalyst, you know, just kind of mind blowing to me. It's like your body can do anything, you know. For anybody that says that they can't, I mean, you can do whatever you want to do, you know. I mean, it's just taking that initial step, you know. It's not easy. It's definitely not easy, but you just start where you are. Start where you are. Even if you can't walk, I mean, even if you can't walk for a long period of time, just start where you are. If you can walk, you know, a minute, walk for a minute, run for 10 seconds, you know. That's what I would tell anybody, you know. I mean, we could listen, if we can inspire one person, we can inspire 1,000, you know.
Facts. So, Jam, I started this thing with you. You and I train together on Tuesday morning, Thursday mornings, whatever weekend morning. We've been out there, and it's been great. But what's next? What's next for 2022? We've done Spartan together. We've done marathons together. What's next on the docket for you?
Bro, I mean, after getting this 50-year drip, I don't know, man. I mean, listen, I'll run with the SSRC pack, so wherever they go, I'm like, I'm right there, whether it's Berlin, London, Tokyo, Chicago. I'd be excited to do Chicago again, yeah, I mean, it's SSRC worldwide, sky's the limit. So this is only the beginning. 2020 held us down, but they're not gonna hold us down forever,
Yeah.
Let's get it done. We're not done. We're not done.
We're not done. All right. I love it. I love it. Yeah, Rob, thank you so much, homie. I appreciate you and all you've done for the running club over the years. And yeah, man, we'll keep training together. We got some more work to do, so let's get it done.
Love it, baby. Love you guys.
Love you too, homie. Folks, we got 2 more runners, and then we'll conclude episode 82 of the show. We have our girl on now, Persistent Phil. Phyllis is on the line, folks. Phyllis, how are you?
Good afternoon, Doc. I'm fine.
So good to see you. I'm glad you're able to make it, and I want to say congrats on now your second marathon under your belt. How does it feel to have 2 marathons under your belt?
It feels very good. But just sorry I wasn't close to my first. I think I'm more prepared for the first marathon, seeing that I wanted to do a marathon so desperately, and so I was so eager after seeing you guys run to do the marathon. So I was more prepared and ready. This time I was prepared, but I had some challenges. But in fact, I thank God that amidst the challenges, I was able to cross the finish line.
Yeah, amazing. Listen, you mentioned that I just had Arthur on. You mentioned that seeing Arthur and me run in 17 sparked your journey. Now that you're inspiring others to run, how does that make you feel?
Awesome. I am so excited about all our new first timers. I am so excited. To hear Loni said, "Oh, I'll never run. I don't like to run." And then see her come out there and do her thing. See Sharon, who battled her knee problems. Heather, who been running with us and said, "Oh, I don't think I want to do this." And then see her out there, Keitha, Erica, because I know at times I was encouraging her to come and join Spartan Sundays, and because she was on our potluck table. And for that, but seeing her getting in there and conquering and doing 3 marathons in 1 year, it's awesome. It's a great feeling. And I wish more for our youths will see this as an opportunity of, just taking care of their body. Because you use your body while you are in your youth, it sustains. Too many individuals on medication for the simplest thing. I wish more for youth to just get involved and enjoy it. Be part of the team.
Yeah. Well said, Phyllis. And I know that you had some foot issues this year. You and I talked about that extensively, even as of last year, about this foot, and but you got through it and you were able to be victorious. What drove you not to give up?
I remember 2019, I was so anxious. I was eager to run the Queensboro Bridge. So when my team, the team of ladies who was with me, decided, they're not running, they're gonna walk over the bridge. I said, no, I'm gonna run this bridge. So I ran it. And at the end, I said, okay, so I'm gonna wait. But my feet, they were speaking to me. They said, no, don't stop, keep on running. keep on running. My foot got hurt, but I could still run. And that motivated me. Why stop? The problem was short-lived, sometimes a little niche notch now and then, but I overcame those and I can move. So this is not time to stop. I'm not ready yet.
Not time to stop, not ready yet. And with that said, Phyllis, what's next for you for 2022?
For 2022, of course, I'm going to do it again. I have limitations, so I can't go certain places. But if possible, if I can go to Chicago to do that, it would be a plus. But I definitely going to do 2022. And this time, yeah.
All right. Now we're looking forward to that. And congrats again. We appreciate all you've done to be a part of this club and for inspiring others. And yeah, Phyllis, let's get it going. Let's keep it moving. Absolutely.
Thank you.
No problem. No problem. Congrats.
Pleasure, and thank you for the motivation. Thank you for the training for the first marathon. I'm sorry I missed out on the trainings on mornings, but I know we'll continue this journey. I heard you said this is your last, but now I'm hearing different things, which is awesome. It's so exciting. So yes,
you gotta do it. Absolutely.
Thank you, and Ish, for all the support and for all you have done for us to get this team going. It's expanding. Thank you. God bless.
Our pleasure. Our pleasure. Folks, we have our last runner all the way from the West Coast. He's 3 hours behind, but he's right on time. You may have seen him on TikTok or on the news because he's paparazzi famous right now. He's my ever true to Golden Blue Woodbury Hall runner, alumni. We ran in high school together, played basketball together. He's my main man, Jamel Melville's with us right now, folks. Jamel, what's going on?
What's going on, Dr. Sean? Glad to see you again. It's crazy to think that only 7 days ago, we were running a marathon together. Time moves fast, but it doesn't seem like it. Seems like it was yesterday.
Yes, sir. It seemed like it was yesterday for sure. Listen, man, a lot's happened this last week, and it's crazy. I tell folks, you and I connected. You did the Grit Challenge with us, with Stephen and Gerard. We did our 150 miles. We got that in, and then that kind of sparked our reconnecting of the boys, just recognizing that we appreciate running. And I've been tracking your running over there in LA, and this is marathon number 3 for you in the book. So congrats.
Thank you.
Yeah, I know you came all the way from California back to run in your hometown, New York.
Yes.
What did it feel like being back in your old stomping ground?
It was awesome. It was awesome. From the moment I touched down off that flight on the approach in the LaGuardia airport, was able to look out, see the skyline, New York City, and was thinking to myself, wow, I'm going to run this. I'm going to traverse this city on foot, running shoes, in the elements, much colder than LA. But it was just amazing. So much nostalgia. I remember taking the train in my childhood, being with my dad in my childhood, my mom in my childhood. And I said to myself, wow, this is really going to happen. A New York City marathon that I had only seen on TV, had only experienced on television. Just amazing. Tugged at my heartstrings.
Yeah, I appreciate that, man. When we gave you the invite, I was like, who would really appreciate being with us on this road? And you're the first name I came to, and I'm glad you accepted. And again, you and I ran track together in high school at Woodbury Hall, and we ran some relays together too. And I know you mentioned in your experience that really sparked your interest because you were a big football guy. You were a big football star. I remember watching you play football and being like, yo, Jamel's a beast. But to see you transfer that now to this running world is incredible. How special was it to see so many of your high school and our high school alumni and friends on the course on Sunday?
Well, yeah, tremendous support. And actually, it's interesting because back at Cho, my freshman spring, I did water polo, just intramural water polo. And then sophomore year is when I started the track and field journey. And I'm so happy that I did, because as you mentioned, that sort of sowed the seeds for what's happening now. The support from Choate, immense. And first of all, everyone knows that you're a Choate alum, and you extended this invite to me, and I'm grateful for that. But the support along the course was amazing. Stephen was out there, Gerard was out there, Sonia was out there, Ali Fenwick was out there. So much support, and it just provided more of a fuel to run the course and to keep going. And so much from the strangers, so much from the strangers out in the course. I must have slapped at least 4 or 5 little kids' hands along the way, as well as so it was wonderful. Lots of energy.
Lots of energy in New York. Lots of energy in New York. And I'd be remiss if we didn't mention the video. So
let's talk about that.
Arthur started all together in Staten Island. We were there at 6 a.m. on the ferry, and we were hyped to go on the course, and we all started off. And I remember seeing you take off, and I said, no, he's gonna run his 3:25. He's gonna do it. And I was running my pace and doing my thing, and I finished the race. Not in the time that I wanted, but I finished because I made my own mistakes, what have you. And I saw one of our runners, one of our supporters, saying you were in a medical tent. And I didn't think twice about it because I was like, oh, he's probably, maybe he tweaked something or cramped up or whatever else. And I have my own that I was dealing with at the time. So I kind of kept going. But tell us briefly about what happened. I mean, there's a video out there that now is showcasing you being carried by people. And, a number of people have interviewed you and contacted us to say, where's this guy? Where's the number? We want to talk to him. And you were on the news literally the next day talking about your experience. So what exactly happened, and how has your life been any different since?
Yeah, you mentioned the start. We spent a couple of hours just camping out pre-race in Staten Island under the bridge, waiting for everything to happen. Temperatures were cold, as you know, 40 degrees, 41 degrees. And although I felt warm at the time, body temperature, not cold, I believe that my body was spending a lot of energy trying to stay warm. And even though I grew up in New York, lots of time in sunny California, but I ran the race the way I wanted to, early, middle, and even early, late. And at some point along the way, within the last mile, I sort of hit the wall, and I was running and actually fell. I fell down, and I'm thinking to myself, wow, this has never happened before. Almost a surreal experience, because you think about the amount of people who were there at the race, running the race, and also the supporters that we mentioned earlier. And the crowd saw me go down because you're on the front stage, and they were cheering for me, trying to root me on. And here I am, I'm saying to myself, okay, hey, Mel, let's finish. Let's finish. This is not what you wanted to happen, but let's finish. I'm trying to get up, and the mind power was there, but my legs just were not cooperating. Were not cooperating at all. So runners came to help me, and I'm still trying to get up, and I want to run. I don't want to walk. I want to run, because this is a race, right? This is a marathon. But it just wasn't there. Like I said, I didn't have it. Every step that I took to that finish line was painful. Lots of pain in my quads. But yeah, it was crazy. It was almost a surreal experience. It was almost like I was watching myself doing it, third person. It was tremendous pain, tremendous experience, but that's what it is. I've told people before that the marathon is almost like a metaphor for life. You can plan the way it's going to go, but there's always going to be things that happen, influences, random things that happen, that occur, and you've got to respond to it. Like, where do we go from here? We're here now. Where do we go? How are we gonna adapt to this situation? How are we gonna respond to it? And it happened. It's crazy. One of the questions you asked is like, how has my life been different? It's a lot. Like, I've never been in this situation before in terms of the amount of attention and the amount of outpouring of love and support. I believe that I'm feeling right now. As you mentioned, the videos all over the news, all over TikTok. So yeah, and people that I haven't heard from in several years are responding to me, reaching out to me. I want to know if I'm okay. Strangers are leaving voice notes, supportive voice notes, and it's cool. It's cool. And I'm happy to have influenced so many people by having what happened to me happen. Yeah, it's cool.
It's incredible, Yeah, man. I think that the outpouring of love that was shown, even from the Old Man Running Club, some of the guys who helped you get across the line, and various running clubs who reposted your video showing that this is basically what NYC is about. This is what NYC is about in terms of people coming together. Because although everyone's competitive, I mean, you have people who are finishing with the time that you finished, 3:20, 3:30, who they're trying to qualify for Boston, for other things, and they stopped to make sure that you were to cross the line. They don't know you. They don't know who you are. Alyssa was a man who needed assistance, a fellow runner, a fellow brother who needed assistance. And the amount of love that was shown on that course and that moment, I mean, the videos I've checked now have been like 50 or 500,000 views on various platforms. And to see your story on various newscasts throughout the week and in the paper just lets everyone know that although we came out of New York, quarantine and everything else, we are still stronger than we've ever been. We are still stronger, and recognizing that when people go through issues, we all go through issues. We all come to this together. We all support each other. And it was just beautiful to see that happen. I'm sad it happened to you, but I'm glad that it happened to you because we know you. And I think it was a great way to see that NYC is that spot. There's a reason why they named the city twice, because it is that bad city. It is. And I'm glad you got through this race. I'm glad you did your thing. And I'm just curious, my last question for you as we close this show. You've met a lot of people for the first time. The Spartan Sunday Club is new, a lot of new faces, a lot of new people. Some of the people that you ran with, you only saw that one night before the dinner, right? That was the first time you actually saw those people. How has your connection with this team been strengthened, and what are your goals now moving forward for 2022?
Yeah, well, first of all, I want to say I love the team. The team is great. Great sense of community, great sense of inspiration to see members of varying backgrounds, but all united in their desire to push themselves, and in this specific case, to finish the marathon. So it's very inspiring. You have people of older ages, younger ages, medical histories that you would think would hamper their ability to complete a marathon. But with all those factors, it has not. So I'm very proud to be a part of the running club. And just the energy at the dinner that you mentioned was just so wonderful. And I was like, man, I'm happy to be here. This is a perfect springboard to use to run the marathon the next day, as it were. Moving forward, I'm as hungry as I have ever been. My legs are healing right now. But today's the best day that I've had since last Sunday in terms of my strength and everything like that. So there are a few marathons that I want to accomplish and also run again. And of course, November 6th, 2022, that's circled on my calendar. That's the date of the New York City Marathon. So I'm looking forward to returning to that. Next month, there's the Dallas Marathon. We'll see how this recovery process shakes out. But I may run that. I'll keep you posted, of course. But yeah, several courses. You have LA Marathon next year, and also the Brooklyn Full Marathon. Yeah, I'm just looking forward to keeping it going, and I want to do big things. I want to constantly improve and constantly, inspire others, and motivate others, and that anything can be done. This life is a long race, but as long as you keep pushing, you'll be okay.
That's it. That's it.
Yeah.
Hey man, well, you've inspired me. I'm excited to maybe join you in LA. I don't know. I'm here now. I was like, I'm done, but we got stuff to do. We got work to do. So
Right.
maybe LA in March. Who knows what's going on?
Right.
But we
When you
appreciate
said that initially, I said, I don't know if Sean's going to be done, but I'm not going to say anything because I know you. I know you got that hunger.
We've been running together. We've been friends for 20 years, so you know how I do.
Yeah.
And it is what it is. So we got to keep pushing. But
Yes, sir.
I appreciate you. Thank you for sharing your story with us, Jamel. And
you're welcome.
Yeah, man, sky's the limit. 2022. We're gonna see you again for sure. So let's keep it going.
I appreciate you too as well, my brother. Thank you.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
All right.
And folks, we are at the conclusion of our Be More Today Spartan Sunday show. It has been amazing.
No, we're not.
No, we're not at the
We're
conclusion.
not. I know you didn't think you could get out of here without you being questioned, my friend.
Yeah, we had to ask you some questions and figure out how you doing.
Get out of here, Sean.
Oh, surprise, surprise.
All right. Okay, Sean, this was your 5th marathon.
How do you feel?
Oh my goodness. This is a surprise, folks. This was not on the agenda. Folks, I feel good. I'm excited that it's done. I told many of you that there was a time where I just was overrunning in general, just because I did not ever stop working with COVID-19. So running was the only thing that kind of kept my sanity as I was still working during the quarantine era. But doing the grit, having the Be More Today challenges, which really were for all of us, but also for me, finishing this 5th marathon was special. And I mean, you knew it was special. I dyed my hair gold. I did all kinds of stuff for this thing, hoping to get a time that I really, really wanted. And I mentioned I made a rookie mistake in taking something I shouldn't have taken. I didn't trust my own words about trusting the process. But I got over that quickly and recognized that there are many times where we train for certain things and they don't go as we had planned. But there's always another race. There's always another day. There's always another journey. And to stop because you don't get what you want is not what Be More Today is about. To continue to push forward, to do what you have to do for the next opportunity is what it's about. So I'm here. And as long as my body allows me to, my knees allow me to, and my wife and daughter allow me to, I will continue to go out there and run whatever races that we as a team are doing and whatever's on the docket.
All right, cool. So one of the questions we were thinking is, you trained, you got up early, you pushed yourself. You always say you are always on the move. The question is, this year, why?
This year was different. I really got to a place where I didn't enjoy a lot of things. Work was super stressful because of COVID. And working out was not really, it's usually very fun and exciting and easy, but it became tedious. It became something that was like, I had to really schedule it in, because if I didn't do it, I wasn't going to do it. So I had to force myself to really push for this year. And I didn't do all the things that I usually do. I did things very differently this year in terms of training with a couple of different run clubs. Teamwork was one of them. Training up our training regimen with us, with the early morning runs, was something different as well. And all those things really were necessary just to get me out of my funk. I was in a funk. And it's hard to be in a funk when your main job every day is to go and inspire others to get over their own funks. So it was hard personally, just trying to find my own motivation. And, I appreciate all of the people who sent text messages and inspired me. I mean, you guys really inspired me, from watching Sharon put her miles in, to Pam, to even my wife and my mom, and you, Ishmael, just really go out there and do these things. They inspired me to push. And I think that we all need that. When you can't be the pusher for someone, you need that push. We all need a push. And, I needed that push. And NYC was that push for me to say, it's go time to get back off on the wagon, back on the horse, put the shoes back on, and you just get out there and do what you can do.
Right. Okay. So how did it feel to see and know that all 24 runners crossed the finish line, including that lady next to you?
Listen, that to me was I haven't had a chance to ever watch since we started running, because I've been running every single year. So to literally, I went home, changed, grabbed Sonali, and I could not wait to get back so I can cheer you guys on. It's one thing seeing you guys during a race, like maybe like a Bronx 10 mile, I kind of see you in passing, but to be a real spectator, and to do it and to be a real spectator for that race, it was incredible. And I'm just so proud of everyone. From this lady who's sitting next to me, who, you know, I adored, to my mom and the other 24 runners who finished this race, knowing their individual stories and seeing where everyone came from. That's why I had to have everybody on the show, because there's so many things that people just don't know that go into someone getting one of these. It's not just about Instagram pictures and seeing what's going on. There's stories that everyone goes through to really showcase what they had to do time-wise, family-wise, sacrifice, work sacrifice, time sacrifice, just to say that they got this thing done. And I'm just proud. I'm just proud of the running club. I'm proud of everybody for finishing, and I'm happy that no one had any major injuries during the training.
All right, first off, I just wanted to apologize myself, because I know that I stood as far away from that last cheering section as I could. And all I did was, like, you know, give the little point as I was going on. But I did hear the Puerto Rico and all the Wepa chants going on as I went round. But it was good to see you and everybody that we saw on the markers joining up at the end. And I think that was the last push for everybody, especially when they were drained. So
yes.
that was awesome. So Pi, you have any other questions?
Yeah. You keep talking about, before the race, you kept saying, this is it, I'm done. This is the last one. I'm done. I'm retiring. I was asking if you wanted new shoes for Christmas. You were like, no, I'm done running. It's over. I think I'm going to get into cycling. Maybe we'll get a Peloton, all this other mess, right? And, you know, for those of us who've been in the Spartan game for a while, we're very aware of how many times Sean has retired or threatened to retire. And then next year we're signing up for 16 more races. So you, throughout this, and also a couple times earlier this week, talked about the various things and races that you're planning to do. So I'm just curious, what's really next for you? We heard triathlon, Jamel was just talking about the Dallas Marathon, which is in like 4 weeks or something. I heard you say something about a half marathon. Then I heard you say, last night what I heard was, I've got unfinished business, babe. So I'm just curious, what's next?
Well, I do have unfinished business. You know, my best is 3:57, and I know I can do more than that. And you know, as someone whose main job is to show people that they can do more than they think they can do, when you know you can do more than something, I can't stop. And as long as my feet are running, I do want to do the Avid 6, so we can get those international runs in. You know, we've done New York 4 times already, so if New York happens again, that's going to be tough. But the Avid 6 is going to be, I think, the next thing on the docket.
The smirk on Pi is priceless.
Yeah.
Does she know what she just signed up for?
Well, here's the thing. I'm just curious. What time in the morning are you now going to start waking up?
Well, we both are training in the morning. Then we got to figure out. I'll train whatever.
I did.
Pi did kind of put herself on the table.
Nighttime, I can run midday. We'll find time. That's never a question. You can always find the time. But you know, and I would love to do a triathlon. Just as I've said before, my swimming is, I'm not as confident in open water as I'd like to be, and all those open water things. That's the only thing. If Vanessa and Erica are still listening, that's the only thing that's holding me back. Just the confidence I would need to go out there and tackle open water. But as I'm going to share with you guys now, I'm going to be signing up for swimming lessons probably in January. So a lot of things are coming down the pike. This is going to be a year where we have to be more today. And there's a reason why this thing is called Be More Today, because there's no point in us not cherishing the ability we have to go out there and just live life until the legs fall off, until the wheels fall off. We're going to do it.
We're just going to hope that the legs don't fall off.
We do hope the legs don't fall off.
Yeah, we pray the legs stay on.
We're going to hope and pray that everything stays together. But that's where I'm at, folks. we're here. We're in this. Job's not finished. Let's keep it going.
Yeah, it sounds like you're gonna be more today. You know.
Well, I'm gonna take a month off. I'm gonna
not
take a
like-
month off.
Oh, okay, okay.
Like Jamel said, rest is crucial. So we'll be working on some fundamentals for the next month. But yeah, the next race will probably be January 23rd for that Fred Lebo half.
So let's be clear. Taking a month off means like doing other kind of physical activity, just not running.
I mean, he's got to stay. He's got to keep his foundation, you know. But you know, once you decide exactly what your schedule is, I'm sure the Spartan Sundays Run Club will be here to cheer you on, and we just got to get a lot more rabbits. Maybe Jamel is going to stay on as a rabbit with you, and then Arthur's now in rabbit territory. You know, we're gonna keep expanding.
Yeah, we're gonna keep expanding. We're gonna keep growing.
And then on the other side, we're gonna have the sloths joining me.
Don't you dare say that. They are called the Turtle Group, and as stated right here, they will stay alive.
No, but seriously, Sean and Ishmael, both of you are on here, so I would just want to say thank you so much to both of you. You guys are really inspirational. Sean, thank you for putting together all of the plans and things that I personally don't follow, but that everyone else in the group follows, and for motivating us and sending us inspirational texts and reminders. And Ishmael, thank you for the same, and also for making all the connections with all the companies and New York Roadrunners and all the places, and representing our team, and just always remembering to put God first, and making sure that we remember that we're doing this as a team, that no one's left behind. I mean, I can attest to no one being left behind. I mean, I tried many times during this race to get left behind and was told that no, and actually like yelled at a couple times.
Pi literally tells us, "Leave me behind," and we have to say,
every time.
you know, be quiet and let's
But
go.
you guys are really inspirational. You both should be so proud of the fact that 24 runners signed up to do this, to do the marathon, and 24 runners crossed the finish line, and that nobody was left behind and nobody didn't finish, right? And that we all got through it one way or another, kicking, screaming, being carried, being pulled, smiling, crying, whatever way we did it, and you guys are instrumental in that. And so I just want to say thank you so much. And 2022, Team No Back Fat, let's go.
Oh,
Let's
it's
go.
back. You know what's old is new again. Team No Back Fat is coming back. So I just want to put a shout out there to New York Roadrunners for allowing us to have that many runners this year, especially during a COVID year, because you know, unfortunately there was not international travel, and that allowed New York to shine bright in-house. You know, the local community was able to really come alive and cheer their own people. And that was great. We did love the international community that did come by. But, you know, New York, like Sean said, it's such a big place. They named it twice.
That's right. Exactly. That's right. And that's it, folks. We have all our runners on, and I thank you so much for joining us for this two-part series, the Be More Today show. Again, you can find this show on any podcast that you love, your favorite podcast, and of course on our YouTube pages. And continue to go out there and remember our quote from today and from last week as well. To get through the hardest journey, we need to take only one step at a time. We must keep on stepping. Keep on stepping. You just heard 21 stories from amazing people doing extraordinary things. So I hope you're inspired. Go on Facebook and Instagram and follow Spartan Sunday Running Club. As always, follow Be More Today and the Be More Today show on Instagram and on Facebook. And for all the things Be More Today related, go to our website, BeMoreToday.com, for my book, our swag store, which is open and popping, ready for business, and of course a podcast, which is heard in Voices Countries. And as I always say, folks, if you want to send me any information or questions about how to engage with the people on the show, or if you want to be on the show, email me directly at drshawn@BeMoreToday.com, or follow us on our social media platforms. And as I always say, have a good day, have a good night, have a great life, to continue to take your steps of greatness to be the best version of you. We'll see you next week.
Be more today, everybody.
Peace.
Be more today.